Okay, so welcome to our session number 104 or Phase 3, Season 1, Episode 15. At the table today we have Ross.
Yes, I'm playing Yodri, the swashbuckling warlock sorcerer. With his companion... what did I call my little... I think I called him Typhoon. Sitting on his shoulder, little ice imp, who's basically now going to stay invisible due to the fact that I keep on forgetting that he's there. Stumbling our way across this vast land and half drunk because he can't remember what happened.
So now that you can drink.
Yeah.
Then we have Gary.
Hi, playing Anton, the Treladaran warlock, who has joined the most unfun cult in the world, the Cult of the Black Earth, who believes that life should all be about drudgery and hard work.
All the drudgery, all the hard work.
Sounds like a bunch of dwarves.
Yeah.
Would you like a D10?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay, so would you like to introduce yourself, Maria?
No, because there's other people to be introduced. I'm gonna.
Okay, so Izzy, if you're free, would you...
Peppermint Tim
No.
Tam? Okay.
Sorry, I'll go again. Izzy, if you're free, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I am Izzy, and I am playing Samir, the Rainbow Angel who has a problem with the establishment and just wants to join a cult, apparently.
Also has a problem controlling things.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a small bolt of lightning that blew a hole in a mountainside. What are you talking about? It's fine.
Yeah.
Ariadne never introduces herself. You really got to learn this.
I know, but I have my way of doing things.
I'm Caclryx, the white dragon, mostly with the jazz wings. And I'll be joining you today because you're short a bunch of players and it's Christmas time and Caclryx wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you guys don't mind.
No, fine.
If you do mind, there'll be a very awkward moment now where you tell me to all bugger off and then I go to the room and sulk.
More the better.
I'll just do my tea.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're all good. I gather you've got to do the summary.
Yeah, the summary will be fairly quick. They had travelled
We're all
to...
in shit.
So you'd like to do the summary then?
No, I was joking.
Sorry, I'm just giving enough pause so I can speak. Okay, so what was I saying? Completely lost. One of those days.
Rolling peaks.
We've joined lots of cults.
Yes, you had travelled to the northern reaches to discover more information about the cults besides who they are. Finding out who they are doesn't necessarily say what they're there to do. And in doing so, you enlisted the aid of the Dark Lady. Sorry, just struggling at the moment with all the extra noise.
Sorry, I was putting biscuits away.
All good. And with that help, you manage to get 4 members indoctrinated into 4 different cults.
I'm not sure I was indoctrinated.
You were. You got the symbol on your hand.
Okay. Marked.
Well, geases are not simple things.
Okay. All right. Bound again.
Yeah. This is one that you know about,
Yeah,
which means
okay.
you can't tell others about what you learned from the cult.
Okay.
So those who join Fight Club can't talk about Fight Club.
Yep, you do. I do recall that.
Just hope that it doesn't go against your patron.
So saying that this involves a lot of drudgery and work, that's okay? That's not giving too much away?
Well, getting accepted required a lot of drudgery and work.
Right.
But you don't have to say that. Getting accepted, you can just say you required a lot of drudgery and work.
You required a lot of drudgery and work.
Because that doesn't actually say what it was all about.
Mm.
Going, your initiation required this, this, and this. Well, that probably wouldn't come out.
No, I wouldn't say that. Oh, actually, gears, so you can't say it.
Yep.
Mm.
And so when they call on you for aid, the gears kicks in.
That's the thing, when you're bound to multiple things, who trumps who?
Who's he who has the most power?
Okay, all right. I hope I don't get twisted and torn apart.
Or it might be that the labelled parts go in the right directions.
Okay, this doesn't sound good.
So a bit of you might go that way and the rest of you go that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, when someone does the gears on your forehead, you know you're in a lot of trouble. Because you can't lose that part. Normally. Because they went and joined all the 4 different cults, finding out the very basics that these cults really are about more than what they had discovered previously. They're a lot deeper. And that the belief system of each cult is more than the military arm of the cult. So after gaining each of the cults how-to guides, which again they can't share with people.
Yeah.
Yep.
They can't even do the, oh, put the book down here and walk away.
No, they try that. No, oh look, the book's gone back into my hand.
Is it
Or I
fun
can't
reading?
put the book down.
Is it fun reading, engrossing, or is it, tedious?
The air one's extremely tedious.
Okay.
It uses incorrect pronouns and completely changes tense and basically wanders all over the place.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not in that one. I'm not going to read that.
And it contradicts itself in many ways.
Okay.
Which, if you follow up on the letter of what it says, is not very easy. Whereas the Black Earth is very plain and simple.
Okay. Plain and simple, I can live with.
The water one's all about what's happening to what you're meant to do. The Black Earth don't really care what's happening around you. It says, you shall do this.
Yeah, okay, alright. You got the fun ones.
And the fire one, just burn everything.
I didn't think I needed to talk too much about that, but yeah, that pretty much sums up the fire one.
Yeah, at least my guys want to give you a decent amount of information and talk to you about it. But far more in favour of this water cult than all previous iterations I were encountered.
And I think we were trying to actually get in contact with Red Rams again to find out what we should be doing.
You were planning on chasing up with him to find out what needed to be done next.
Yeah.
But you had travelled back to the Dark Lady to actually talk to her about what you had discovered.
And the Dark Lady did offer to actually,
Get to the round.
We're just trying to find the page where she's on because,
I
hey,
get to it.
getting to all these things is always fun. And each of your cults had a little hand sign that represented them to the
Yep, thank
other
you.
members.
Yep. I'll grab myself another coaster.
Sorry,
Okay, I like that.
So yes, and that was the representation of the Dark Lady.
Okay.
She looks like what you'd expect one of the evil underground elves look like, but she doesn't have any demonic totems on her, as the known evil elves, the blood elves, are very much about ritual sacrifice.
Well, of all the powerful creatures, she seemed the most reasonable we've ever met.
I don't know, all this talk of fire and all the elements and things start to make Caclryx think this might be her opportunity to get a fourth element.
That might.
Great. So the dragons become power mad.
I was. Martin may not let me off on that, but.
So you had travelled back to Rudeth Manor, where the Dark Lady resides, which is on the astral plane between the real world and the Feydark.
What the hell? It would have been easier to go down the bloody Ginadera Drive.
Unless they're delivering more than one package.
True.
So what you'll find is they hold, if there's someone else that's going, they'll hold your meal up, or hold their meal up. So they deliver both at the same time because they're doing self-delivery and not actually hiring the Uber drivers.
I don't know why I brought that out, I don't need it.
Normally by practice. So yes, as you reach the Dark Lady's abode, walking up the path of skulls of those that have displeased her, as far as you know.
So this Dark Lady, that's not the same Dark Lady as the Queen of Darkness.
No.
It's the Shadow Dragon.
It's a Shadow Dragon.
Yes.
I remember stuff.
And amusingly, Caclryx hadn't encountered her in the storyline yet.
Not yet, no.
So you had wandered up the path, you saw her waiting for you, and she had gestured you in, and had granted some of you items. So you only had lost access to the trident.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we all got special items, didn't we? I got Iron Fang.
And Ibni had lost the Iron Fang because Ibni was wielding it before.
Oh.
Or they had chosen not to continue with the cults.
Okay.
As in they weren't there at the time.
Okay, yep.
Or if they were there, they didn't want to sign up.
That's Tuesday's Caclryx. This is traditionally Friday's journal.
This pile of papers.
This is why I know what happened.
Yeah, the Aquaman look doesn't really work for me. Big trident, little halfling
So you're
holding
still
it.
summarising up to the point we're at today?
Yes, I was actually saying they had just arrived at the manor, had been invited in, and had been given the artifacts of the different cults.
That's right. Yep.
So you suspect they're not the full artifacts, and that they would be subservient to the actual artifact. Because why would someone give you the key to the actual?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, actually, if it was the artifact, I believe the artifact would actually be bossing you around.
Look, get in the queue, mate. There's lots of people bossing me around.
Well, no, actually, I should say, okay, the artifact will be the pilot, and you'll just be the,
Okay. The legs, the feet, to
the
carry it
observer.
around.
you'll be the observer, you're the passenger.
Porter, carrying it around.
Less so because you'd be doing the carrying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And where you like to say stuff, you say something in your head, and you hear a voice saying, "No, I'm not going to say that."
And we shall call you Manuel.
Yes, I'm sure you can open up again later. Faulty Towers jerk.
Yep.
So she then lets you know that there is another member of your Redrian's team here.
Okay.
And you see a large dragon enter the room.
Oh,
How large?
you have grown.
Large as
Do I
in
s-
large scale.
Okay.
Who do I see first?
You see,
Yodri?
well, Yodri, because I'm sure he's bouncing around a little bit.
So,
Because he's slightly drunk.
Yeah.
to
Say it's not the rainbow glowing angel.
to you guys,
Seems
the great
like a
big
person
dragon
everyone
goes,
says.
Yodri! And then just zooms in, and
I'm
huge
saying-
large dragon scoops him up
Yep,
and starts
I'm
giving him a
saying
cuddle.
you've grown.
What colour are you?
I'm white mostly, but I have black scales, as you can see on per Light Fury
Okay.
demonstration dragon. And now something that you'll notice that wasn't there before is I've got some blue scales.
What about your gem encrusted? You wanted to get gem encrusted scales, didn't you?
I'll get there eventually.
That was the door, so your
Yep.
food is here.
Yep.
And that was my phone telling me there's someone at the door.
Yeah, so this tiny little halfling gets just swallowed up by the large dragon. But the large dragon doesn't seem to be trying to eat him, so he's okay.
So dropped it and left.
So the last time I saw you, you were.
You might need to push the door again.
Just, lean on
Yep.
it. Yep.
Yep.
You hear
You
it
were
click.
the size of a small pony. You have definitely been having your
Drinking my coffee.
protein and coffee.
Drinking
and
my coffee.
Whatever dragons do.
And eating my cookies.
At least there was no many halflings later being said in that conversation.
Do you need utensils or anything?
Probably. I don't think we give any.
I was going to say, just remember we've got the little round mats to
Yeah.
protect the table. I didn't think pizza would harm the table, but it did. Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, it must have been really hot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the condensation that goes right in the center of it, and then the grease in the condensation.
Yeah, true.
Yes, so, of course, yes, I am much larger.
So, why don't you describe how you look?
So yes, Caclryx is large size. She can change her size, can't I?
If you can.
Can I change all the way down to small again, or just to medium?
You can go to medium. You're not very practiced at changing
No.
large sizes.
Yeah, no,
Large
I
reproduction, yeah.
very rarely change down from large because mostly the monsters I'm facing are bigger than me at large. So feel it's not a good decision.
And if they're not bigger, then they can be coward easy.
And she's only ever spent like 5 to 10 seconds in her bipedal elven form. She does not like bipedal forms. She does not see the need for being in bipedal forms. If you do not have 6 limbs, she feels sorry for you.
The bipedal form is also squishier.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
by
much
your
squishy.
bipedal form can actually hold coffee a lot easier.
She has dragon-sized mugs. You also notice that Eep is with her. So Eep is a plant-like looking creature curled up around one of her horns. She's a carnivorous plant, but she doesn't look like a flytrap. She looks like what's known as a Sarracenia. So she's got a kind of long sort of tubes.
Pitcher plant.
Yeah, pitcher plant. Oops, sorry, is that your foot?
That's what.
So basically a triffid.
Not quite. She's cuter, basically.
Triffids can be cute if they're that small.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will eat you while you sleep too.
Yeah.
Well, it's grown that big too.
And usually when you see Eep,
Well,
and
that's
she's
big.
she's
Normally.
called Eep because the only word she usually uses is Eep.
Okay, so it's like Groot.
Yep. Apparently she can garble in gibberish, but most people don't understand her except for Caclryx.
and
And
occasionally she pronounces prophecies of doom, but that was only for one character.
yeah, and she's generally eating one of Caclryx's cookies. Caclryx has a bag of kind of endless cookies that have healing properties.
Oh, okay.
And her coffee also has healing properties. Caclryx usually has a coffee gnome with her called Grindelwald Brewmeister, but he's currently on her little section of land that she got as a part of saving Darrakan. And she's currently growing all of the different coffee beans she's collected as she's travelled all over the realm. Plus she's growing a special coffee plant that has healing capacity so that if we end up in another war with the Master, as
the
you
war
hand
hasn't
out
stopped.
if we end up in, like, when the conflict starts up again, as the morning brew is handed out to get people going, it'll also help heal them and keep them on their feet and give them more stamina and endurance. It's kind of like her longer term
Sue's still in
contribution
hospital.
to the armies. So,
Okay, so Anton, would you like to describe yourself to Caclryx?
Well, not nearly as impressive as Caclryx. You know, scrawny human, wearing ash grey hide armour, carrying a rod and staff carved with elaborate runes. Horrible scars mar my left cheek, and have dull black scales on my hands. I also now have a symbol burned into. I'm not sure how. Is it sort of acided into? I'm not sure.
Well, it's done in such a way that there's no scarring on their hand,
But
but you can
is
see
vi-
it from
How
inside
could
the
But
hand.
it's visible on the palm there.
It's under the skin.
Okay.
It's under the skin, so it's not visible. All right, so you
No,
can't
it,
see that.
It glows.
Oh, okay,
You can see it through the skin and see it through the other side of the hand.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I've got a light.
Okay.
And I don't
do we know
like
what
light.
that light looks like? Like,
No.
do you happen to have an
It is a triangle with a
Okay.
little light coming up from the center of the triangle.
Oh, okay. So
And I also have a little friend.
What is it? The
who-
three. No, I'm kidding.
So they're definitely hollows.
Yeah,
now.
definitely.
I also have a little friend Proshka.
Oh, nice. Well, you've suddenly gone up in esteem in Caclryx's world. So the scars on your face are just on your cheek, I'm guessing? Or?
Yeah.
So I'm just making some notes so I remember.
I'm sure it's not looked as an infection from the dragon kind that some sort of dragon has got a human attached to it.
Can I cast, do like an insight on that, just to see if I can tell if
Who's controlling
about
who?
that?
Yeah.
She's lost a bling. That's okay.
I think it's caused because you didn't
Where is
feed
my- oh, there it
your
is.
dragon.
Would you mind passing me my dice tray, the blue tray, just the whole lot, because that's got all my dice and my tower, and all the other versions
Oh,
of
yeah,
Caclryx
dice
we have.
tower. Cool.
Technically, it's Martin's dice tower, but I'm able to
Commandeer it.
commandeer it.
We also have a new dice tower here as well.
Oh yeah, the barrel one. We're thinking of painting that up and putting Caclryx's coffee brand on
Where does
there.
it come out?
At the front.
Turn around at the
Oh,
front.
okay,
Yep,
there.
at the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We think it might need a little bit of filing to just because it's 3D printed. One of our friends got it for us from
Yeah, okay.
one of those fairs. I'm rolling inside on it.
Yep.
Ooh, 14 plus. I don't know what my stats are because we haven't got to my stat sheet yet.
Well, I've done a big chunk of it.
Yeah, you have. You have.
It is +8.
Plus 8, so it's 22.
22. So yes, because I believe you're a dragon-blooded sorcerer, aren't you? The
Warlock.
warlock. Yeah.
No, alienist.
Alienist. Yeah.
You're a dragon-blooded alien.
Alienist, not dragon-blooded.
So an alienist.
Alienist, yes. Remembering all those things can be quite hard when I have over 50.
I know.
characters.
It's fine. It's fine.
So you described it. It didn't look like a dragon.
It didn't look like a dragon, but some creatures have dragon blood in their ancestry, which allows them to manifest magic.
Okay.
But of course, that might just be corruption of some form. They've been around areas they shouldn't be.
So does my insight get me any insight into what might have caused that and what that might mean?
Yes, humans being silly and making a pact with something they don't know.
Oh, okay. Do I have any idea of what that pact is with?
Nope.
I don't know either.
Now
by the
that
way.
I've got that insight, can I do an arcana to figure it out?
It wouldn't be an arcana.
It wouldn't
but,
be.
He doesn't know either.
Okay, alright. So the GM's answer is no, you have to stop there. That's fine.
I was hoping you would know actually, because no one will tell me.
I might research it because my friend Drazzle might know. Does our friend... Is
Drazzle won't
here?
tell
Drazzle
me.
is here.
Drazzle
Oh.
won't tell me.
Where's Drazzle?
He's sitting off to the side writing in his book.
Oh, I'm distracted by the new people, but I'm not going to forget that Drazzle's here. Alright, so...
That's Anton, and
Yep,
then we
that's
have
Anton.
Izzy with Samir.
How do we spell Samir just quickly?
S-A-M-I-R, I believe that's correct.
That's correct.
Cool.
Which is a
awesome.
surprise for me considering how often I get it wrong.
Ah, it's Arabic, I think, for friend and wind, so it kind of works well with the character. Yeah, and you said, near 8 foot tall, elven with rainbow hair and wings and glittering armor.
So that's the picture of
looks crystalline.
Samir on there.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
basically, I see all the pretty colours, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, pretty.
Yeah. And she has a wand of cotton candy, and yeah.
Caclryx
just-
and Eve are immediately like, does it actually do cotton candy? Does it produce cotton?
it shoots cotton candy.
And now Eve and Caclryx are like, go on.
I'm not sure I want to cast web on someone I've just met's face, but
It's cotton candy, right? She's a dragon. She can handle it.
yeah, that's fun. Bam.
And then the entire room is now stuck in a web of cotton candy.
That's okay. Caclryx and Eve are going to clean this up.
You're welcome.
It's very sticky.
Yeah, well, it's part of the
Sorry,
nature of it,
that's
isn't
just
it?
pure Caclryx, though.
If you don't clean it up, we're going to have issues with your hands.
Yeah. Oh, that's alright. And yeah, Samir's kind of crackling with lightning and jumps from one emotion to the other pretty quickly, so have fun.
Yes, well, I think we might do.
So I think we almost described exactly the same character that Ariadne has, except you're an elf with wings and she's a dragon with wings.
And,
Oh, cool,
and you
yeah.
shoot cotton candy, she produces cookies and coffee.
Ah,
So
I see.
you're
Yeah.
really well aligned, I'd say.
So, you know when you joined the group, I don't think they actually noticed that Caclryx wasn't there for a while. Because you really took on that role.
You didn't miss me! Caclryx will go into a sulk later.
So
when
that
no
was
one
just
else
the
is around.
GM being lighthearted about how
We've heard about you.
Izzy brought in the perfect character to fill in for while you're busy doing other stuff.
Will prestidigitation clean up the sticky cotton candy everywhere?
It'll take a long while because the webbing is designed to hold people intact. That just does it with cotton candy. It's a very good offensive spell. That is also adorable at the same time.
It's wonderful.
She promises
On
to
the plus
eventually
side-
clean up the place.
Isn't as flammable as web.
No, it's still as flammable.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's cotton candy doesn't mean it's not flammable.
That could lead
that's
to
even-
trouble later, so we'll have to be
Yeah.
careful with it.
Great, you got flammable candy.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is carbon. It does burn very quickly.
And I'm sure the term flaming candy is not a bad thing.
Caclryx
Yeah, it seems great to me. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, that's probably your
also gets
nickname.
one
Just
of those
as
cookies
long
out
as I don't
that's
accidentally
cotton
like
candy
spark and set the whole thing
tries
off.
it out for a flavour.
Like a powder cake, that'd be horrible for us, but otherwise probably fine.
I don't know, the whole lot exploding could be very funny at some point. Probably not this one.
Okay, so
When I see Drazzle,
mhm.
Does he look like the Drazzle I'm used to seeing, or does he look like a different Drazzle?
He looks fairly close.
Okay.
Hard to tell because hey, he does travel and change a lot.
Yeah. I will go and give Drazzle a big hug and ask him to look at the picture in his journal that he's just drawn. Will he show me?
He does show you a picture of you, Eep, and cotton candy everywhere, and Eep sort of expanding to the size of your shadow and starting to chew through all the candy at once.
That's a very cool one. She's gonna copy that down later if she's allowed to. And she gives him a cookie with cotton candy on it. Hopefully he likes the flavour.
Have I seen Drazzle change, or is he?
You've not really paid a huge amount of attention to him because he goes out of his way to cover up and
Yeah, I know.
and not really talk.
Okay,
Big conversations can be yes.
I know. I have noticed that, but I always thought he looked the same. Okay.
You haven't seen the black and scarred version of him yet.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen the black and scarred version of him, but I've seen the really old version of him and...
Well, the really old version of him was the black and scarred version.
Oh, well then I think I have then. She's Caclryx, whenever she sees Drazzle, no matter how many, like, if he's just walked out of the room and walked back into the room, every time he does that, she comes up, gives him a cookie, gives him a hug. Because she knows that if he's walked out of the room, he may well have fought a war and then come back out of it.
Oh, okay.
and so,
Trazzle doesn't speak much, so
No.
we don't really know what he gets
for
up
good
to.
reason.
Well, they just found out on Tuesday that if he talks about what he's seen,
Yeah.
he has to make it happen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which
So
is-
if he's seen you die, he then has to make sure you die, even that means he kills
Okay,
you
so
himself.
all right. So he doesn't want to talk because he doesn't have to do all that work that would be involved.
Well,
He still
not
has to
just
make
that.
the history happen,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have to have a hand in making it happen.
Yeah. And another side of that is that he's sometimes saved us. You know, we've been with him a long time, and that's one of the reasons why Caclryx will ask him things, but if he says no, or he doesn't want to answer them, or he doesn't want to show her what he's drawing right that time, she's like, that's fine, have another cookie. Because she's like, she just accepts he can't do it all the time.
Yep.
But he is a source of information. So, you know, it's always a point of, if we've gotten stuck, she's just going to ask just to see, because he might answer, and if he does, that will be helpful.
And even if his answer is a riddle, sometimes it's
Yeah, it hurts Caclryx's head though, and she usually needs more chocolate and
You have to worry when the answer isn't a
coffee
riddle.
and cookies, but, you know, it's a good excuse.
Well, there's occasionally he's had this straight, no nonsense sentence of conversation, and the rest of the party is just turning and going, oh.
He definitely has the capacity to shut a, like, not shut a room down, but for the whole party to just kind of be, I do not how to process that or respond to that. I'm absolutely floored by what I'm hearing right now, and I need a therapist.
So, what brings you to this fine establishment?
The honoured lady, is it Lady of Shadows?
The Dark Lady.
The honoured Dark Lady. Is it through Regin that I'm here?
No,
or
you
through
met her through the Dark Queen.
My good friend Herman, who is the avatar of the Dark Queen, as you know.
How is he anyway?
He's good. Herman's very happy. I send him a regular supply of human type foods, usually sugar based ones. Generally lollies. He likes the really hard ones. That, you know, the jaw breakers. But technically it doesn't break it. Yeah, anyway.
Though normally he replies that it reminds him of halflings.
That's not me. That's him. That's him. That's all him.
Basically, anybody who talks to him, it's basically whatever species they are, he's eaten.
Yeah. But Caclryx is not bothered by that. She's like, as long as you don't eat me, and if you do try to eat me,
Yeah, well,
we
the thing is, you have to
disagree.
keep him with, what was it black coffee?
Yeah, well, you know, I make sure he has
Bribery with.
lots of stuff.
Yeah, you've got him addicted. So as long as you don't start doing that to the
I
ferret.
He was
reckon-
one of the first people that had come into his temple that was nice to him without knowing who he was.
I offered him coffee, and then after he had it and he liked it, I offered to teach his priests how to make the coffee the right way so that he always had good coffee. And then I had 8 priests getting a lesson from me in how to make coffee, and Caclryx was kind of like, I better not stuff this up.
Yes, it's evil coffee.
It's not evil coffee. No coffee is evil.
Okay, well this gives you bruises. Because how strong it is.
You know, that coffee doesn't give people bruises, does it?
Depends on where you hit them with.
I,
Coffee bag.
I was going to say, if it's the sack of coffee beans, well then that's definitely going to bruise you. But, you know, or the cup. Anyway,
It would be an interesting magical item. What's my magical item? A stack of coffee beans.
the Dark Lady has asked me to assist. No, sorry, the Dark Queen has asked me to assist. God, there's too many dark people. We need new titles for you guys.
Okay, the next one will be the Dark Prince. The Dark Princess?
And as she's certainly helped me out on a lot of my quests, and because it gave me the opportunity to see you guys again. Where is and how are Cheval and Zal? Are they alive?
You remember them walking into the room with you. You think they must have stepped out at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, so they might be here somewhere?
Well, Cheval's probably burning something.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I think Zal just
And Zal's got the marshmallows.
Well, you know, Zal is kind of who Caclryx really wanted to see, because Zal technically raised Caclryx. But Yodri and Cheval also had a hand in it, and Candu, who's not.
Let's play tag with the with the dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a good one. at
So
the
this
moment.
group rescued Caclryx when she was 3 months old,
Yep.
from being enslaved by goblins.
Goblins, yes.
Yeah.
And so it was played as an NPC until Ariadne said, "Can I join the game?" And I said, "Sure, take this dragon."
Yeah.
No, it was kobolds. The goblins wanted to enslave her as well. Because I can remember that we were playing...
But it was goblins, kobolds, and hobgoblins involved in it.
Yeah, because we were basically today playing Toss the Kobold to avoid getting the kobolds getting eaten by an angry little dragon.
And the dragon succeeded more often than it didn't.
Yeah.
I was
Many kobold shamans... Many kobold shamans died of the release of this dragon.
Well, that's what they get for tormenting a dragon.
I was gonna say, they shouldn't be tormented.
Well, at least you
Is
did.
that my size in relation to everyone else?
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, it's pretty big.
I did say that you'll be.
I was gonna say that's a oh no, that's yeah, no, I know who that is. Is that based off Aurealis?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
It's a dragon from her books.
Yeah. So Aurealis is a light dragon or white dragon in technically both my books, but hasn't appeared in one of them yet. Soul Taker's Redemption. So.
And has an evil
That's-
twin sister.
That's a nice touch that you've used her. I'm like, why is she so familiar?
Well, it's in the Tuesday one as well.
Yeah, no, and I'm like, she's really familiar, and I'm like, oh, okay.
It's only been used for, I don't know, 3 months. I
We
think.
all know I've got memory problems. We all know I have horrible
It's
memory
okay, I even
problems.
told you at the time I was using it.
Okay, all right. So
Back to the game.
the Dark Lady
Dark Lady.
has asked for assistance from the Dark Queen, or the Queen of Darkness, and the Queen of Darkness has sent me to assist her. But I'm not unhappy to be here just to see you guys.
I think Zal was just getting tired of trying to sort out the messes with it. That's probably why she's like,
So how much does Ariadne remember of what's happened on the Tuesday night to tell the others? They haven't really had a decent update.
Didn't she release the primals or something?
This is why I have this with me. This is the Tuesday book.
Because
I don't
characters who
suppose
jump
you want
between
this.
games. Characters who jump between games can say what's happening in the other games.
Mister, I'm not going to be quiet until someone gives me some attention. And it'll probably be the one who's doing all the talking attention. Alright, so we've been up to a lot. I didn't get to ride a Tyrannosaurus Rex while I was on the Isle of Dread,
still
but
there.
we've recently been on the Isle of Dread.
Why did you go back again?
We're looking to put together an artifact, which is a very special map that will help us put
Traverse time.
together an artifact that will traverse time. And there's 5 parts, and we have 3.
No, you have 2.
2. We have 2 right now, and we've come to the Isle of Dread to find number 3.
Pokeballs involved?
Pardon?
No Pokeballs.
No,
Your safety's off.
Thankfully, and yet, unfortunately,
You got attention.
no Pokeballs involved. We did accidentally put the sun avatar to sleep, which was like a Tyrannosaurus Rex the size of 5 Tyrannosaurus Rexes, but it had these really cool feathers, which it dropped when we did finally manage to put it to sleep, i.e. Kicked its butt. And then,
How do you put something like that to sleep?
well,
Here, buddy.
technically by defeating it, which is we dropped its hit points down to 0, it went to sleep. And when it went to sleep, the other primal titans woke up.
All the primal titans.
All the primal titans. And
So as it was the avatar of one of the primal titans, it was no longer keeping them asleep.
So, but this was at the behest of Ka, the god
T-Rex god.
of the T-Rex god of, is it time?
Thought.
Pardon?
Thought.
And
Well,
Etrugan.
matter. I can't remember closely.
Etrugan kind of isn't unhappy with the deal, and the the group that I'm traveling with, one of the leaders of our group, he's worships a Trugan, and he's become a leader of his people. So he's kind of gone from being like an elk chieftain to now being the chief of chiefs of all the different clans in the Etrugan clans.
So what? He's united the Trugan.
So Car,
He's in the process of
doing that, and Car
And
told him he needed to do this. And
so then he'll become a Khan.
he's not.
Not a Khan,
No.
just a chief of chiefs. They don't
Chief of
have a
chiefs.
word for Khan.
But they've also,
Okay.
kind of in a good way and a bad way, they've created a new clan in amongst the Etrugan, which is the Dragon clan. So he's now half dragon, which, I think he looks better, but it also means he's really hard to stop if you disagree with him. So I was kind of trying to convince him or persuade him that perhaps maybe we didn't want to put
How do you do that?
gods.
By being the chief of the Dragon clan.
Yeah, but you didn't say he just created the Dragon Clan, and then
I know the Dragon
No.
clan technically already existed.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so it was forgotten,
Yes.
I know it was hidden.
hidden.
Yeah.
Hidden, forgotten, same thing.
Yeah.
It was never known by the other Etrugan.
And the Dragon clan consists of Dragonborn, basically. And the Dragonborn are kind of like this hidden part of the Dragon clan, which is Drazzle.
I thought he was just a deformed dragon.
No, he's one of many dragons. There's
Many deformed dragons.
There's so much stuff here for you to know. Now, is it... So this is a player question to the GM, and so what you guys hear, unless he says it's okay, technically your characters don't know. Is it okay for them to know where Drazzle and the family connections are there, or is that better
That's completely up for Caclryx to tell people.
Okay, we're going to leave that part out for now, because that may be more damaging than it is helpful for them in the future.
We already know that Chevelle and Zal are related.
Oh no, this is not that family.
Different family tree.
What?
Different family
Different
tree.
family tree.
Okay, am I on that tree?
No.
Okay, then I don't care.
Yeah, you're all good. But you could be tortured for the information, so if you don't know it, it's much better. And gods could punish you for knowing that information. So again, if you don't know it, better for you.
The gods be crazy.
They might punish us for not knowing it.
Well,
If that comes to be the case and Caclryx knows about it, she'll let you know about it. It's not a big deal. It's just
Lost knowledge that people just can't get easily.
yeah.
And
And
they paid a lot of hard prices to get it.
what?
Yeah.
Like the halfling language?
no, not that.
Almost as bad
it's
as a halfling
basically
language.
lost knowledge related to the dragons. So obviously Caclryx is kind of a little bit more protective of that because one thing that she is open about is that they're trying to bring back the five-headed dragon Caclryx, and she's got to stop that. So
And, all the dragons at one stage got wiped out to get rid of this knowledge.
yeah, so
There's not a single dragon alive today related to those dragons.
if she keeps this to herself, the main thing that she the person she's protecting is her. Because if she gives it to you and someone finds out from you that she knows it, they might try and take her down. So she's kind of like,
That's fine.
I'm going to pretend I don't know
I'm not
this
asking to know.
Yeah. I can tell you guys as a players, but as characters, it's better not to know.
Hail Hydra.
No, but yeah, it's complex. And so the thing that you might find interesting is that the opposite to Caclryx is Bahamut.
If Caclryx comes into the world, Bahamut will follow.
Yeah.
And if Bahamut follows, the dragons will go to war with each other.
Which is why she's
wars.
trying to
And-
stop
And the end of the
Caclryx.
world.
And at
And
this point,
universe.
the dragons were the peacekeepers of the world.
Yeah.
And the dragons have withdrawn. So if the dragons themselves go to war,
Yeah, we've got enough wars going on as it is. We don't need to add to it.
If that happens, I am going to look for the cats and the space goblins and get off
well,
this
come
world.
to think of that, we've been spending quite a bit of time with the Crasta, which are the space cats.
And they found one of the space cats who's
known as Bob.
Known as Bob is his name.
Yes, known as Bob. But let's try and
they can't pronounce his actual name.
let's try and keep this
Wait
in
a
some
second,
sort
I
of.
call one Bob because he wouldn't give us his name, so I'll just go, I'm going to call you Bob.
It could be the same one. They don't know.
It could well be.
Mind you, I can't remember what else happened because I was sneaking around on their ship. They shouldn't let halflings alone on spaceships or flying ships.
He never got onto the Rarecaster ship.
I don't know. I can't remember. All I did was manage to get through a couple of doors and then I've forgotten.
Before we get too distracted, one of the reasons I believe Martin's asking me to give you this information is so that you guys have information that you couldn't have normally. It's at least in the video, so if you want to take notes. The primal titans we woke up were Dawn, Tide, Storm, Death, and Hunger. I can tell you these all again. So there was Dawn.
And Samir did write down their actual names.
Yep.
You can actually just ask me because I'm intimately familiar with that.
Okay, so you know
section
all of this
law.
stuff?
Dawn,
Tide,
Tali,
Death
Tide,
interested
Storm,
in me for some strange reason.
Yep.
Death,
Talpa.
Death.
Yep.
Hunger. I'll actually get the names off you at some point because I don't have their names.
They're all magic cards, so it's ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
And the last one, which nobody knew about, is Calamity.
Oh, come on. It's right there. I can see its three-headed face. Hang on. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Primal okay.
Now, the things you
Zatama.
know about these.
Zatama, the primal calamity. Ketsmop, the primal death. Nizahol, the primal tide. Zatalpa, the primal dawn. And Itali, the primal storm.
What was the hunger one?
Geshaft, Delta.
Delta, yes.
Belta.
Ghalta.
Yeah, I was going to say GH. Do you want to know?
ALTA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, being a magic
do this
nerd
all the
is
time.
Spell this for me.
So to give you some,
Bell.
that is the
Gar.
Primal Tide Titan.
Belgar, is it? Belgar.
Galta. Ghalta.
And that's what the
I thought it was
Calamity
just
one looks
Helltar
like.
because the G's silent.
G-H. Gelta. Gelta.
GHELTA.
Alpha.
GHALT.
Spell it slowly.
A.
GHALTA.
There it is there for you.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Galta.
Cool.
Okay.
Galta.
Galta.
Alright,
It
so
sounds
while
like
you're
Belta.
there,
It sounds like
can I
Belta.
just,
Galta.
so that is
Galta.
Hunger. And
Was
then,
it? Death was
what are
the T-Rex, wasn't it?
Death
No.
is the 3
Death
heads.
is-
So
Zach Amar is.
Yeah, but what does Death look like?
It's like an ankylosaurus.
That's
Yeah,
Calamity.
Okay.
the dinosaur thing.
And
So I'm just going to show Ross that. Sorry, just trying to do the mouse pushes off the side
Yeah.
with my hand that doesn't want to respond properly.
Ooh,
Okay, so that one is Primal Death, is what
Yep.
it looks like.
yeah.
Okay.
So they do have their horrific appearances.
I don't know. They're
don't
not
say-
so horrific as ginormous.
I think it probably would have been better if they were all still
So,
asleep. But, what's done is done.
And what they've learnt in the Tuesday game is, depending on who's telling the histories don't match up.
Well, that's the issue when you use keep history while using vocabulary.
They've got history written by the dead god Io, and history written by the living god Ka.
Okay, so you got two opposing forces then.
That both existed at the same time, barely mentioning the other.
Yeah.
Zagamar was Calamity, I think. Zagamar.
So there's and basically no one wrote the truth.
So Calamity.
There's
Zakama.
three others.
Zakama. Yeah, no, you got that right. Well, that's the one I don't have. Tide. Nezahal. Tide. And I didn't get Storm's name. There it is. Tali. All right. I didn't have their names. So as far as we know, I don't know if you've got this information as well, but we found out that Calamity gave birth to Io, who is the father of all dragons.
He's the greater dragon
the
god.
the greater dragon god.
But the greater dragon god of balance, where it is Bahamut and Takesis are its children.
Yes.
One being the greater god of law, dragon god of law, the other being the greater dragon god of chaos.
Yeah.
Whereas the current dragon gods of law, chaos, and neutrality are not titled as such. But it is said that the Great One, which is the current head of the Dragon Pantheon, is a child of both Bahamut and Takesis.
Okay.
So Io is also known as the Great Dragon.
So the Great One is a three-headed dragon with grey scales,
Okay.
which does have attributes of both.
So I'm just doing a family tree for the third time, but in this book.
So, a lot of inbreeding.
So
Well, not really, because there was nothing else to breed with. They weren't normally having a second partner. They were basically creating the eggs from themselves.
just because dragons are my thing, Io is known as the Great Dragon.
The greater
The Greater Dragon. I knew
greater
it was
dragon of balance.
of balance. Okay. And then Bahamut and Takesis had the Great One.
Their child was the Great One.
Yeah. It's just the two greats. I'm just like, I'm going to get them confused.
So one is a title, one is a name.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Io, yep, and then, yeah,
And Io's name is forgotten in history.
yes.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to get people to remember it for... There's a good reason, but I can't remember what the reason
Because
is.
if enough people remember
Yes.
and start using it, the
Yes.
god may return.
So I will wax lyrical to you guys about Io.
We don't have many good experiences with gods, though.
Io's one of the good ones,
And
maybe.
the original great dragon gods were wiped out by science.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So basically...
Blame the space goblins for that.
So when
Yeah.
the Blackmorians killed off all the dragons, the dragon gods came after them and they took them out.
So, Martin, do they need to know about 5 of the Titans being children of the Queen of the Feywild, etc.?
That would help them.
Okay, so 5 of the Titans are children of the Queens of the Feywild, and an elemental lord, as in each one, so
Each
the
one's
elemental lord of water, and the Queen of the Feywild had a dragon, and, had a Titan, and then the Queen of the Feywild and the elemental lord of fire created the Fire Titan, etc. Does that make
They
sense?
got around.
So the Feywild bit, who was that?
The Queen of the
The
Feywild.
Queen of the
Fey-
Feywild,
Queen of the Feywild.
who has spent a lot of time helping out Car. She likes him. She's like one of the... She's a more powerful god, or...
She's the head of the sphere.
And she
of,
gave birth
matter.
to some of the
She's
Titans.
head
She
of
gave
the
birth
sphere
to
of
the
matter.
Titans through
through the elemental lords. So these are
Five
other
of them.
Sounds
magical...
like Cars being...
Four of the 5 lords.
Yeah,
4 of the 5 lords, yes.
Sounds like Cars being groomed.
Yes, Car has been groomed. But not in the way you mean.
Though the thing that they found also surprising was Io was the first born god.
Born.
Yeah,
Born a god.
he was born a god. He didn't become a god. He was already a god
Okay,
when he was born.
from what?
I'm about to tell you. First, though, we'll get to the 6th Titan. He came from the Fey Dark and is not like the others.
That's Calamity Zagama.
That's Calamity, yes. And he seems not to be aligned with any element, like Io, who is not aligned with any element. Io was the one to put at least 5 of the 6 Titans asleep. I'm just looking for the bit where it tells us where Io was born. It doesn't say who Io was born of. Io and Ka were born to from the same god. Is that right, Martin?
From the Primal Titans.
From the Primal Titans, right? But does it say which Primal Titan?
Through insight, determined that Io must have been born from Calamity.
That's right. Yes.
And that Ka was most likely born from hunger.
That's right. Yeah, and I've probably got that over the page there. I've just got.
Though you didn't actually write down about Ka.
No, I don't think I had Ka, but you've given me that information, so I'm putting it in here.
So there was an entire session of information given to them.
Yeah, and that's this is that session of information. Look how tiny this writing is.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of it there.
Because of all of the stuff. So I'm trying to figure out what's useful to you rather than just reading you the whole lot. Okay, so so in terms of when the Titans were last awake, they were essentially destroying everything. But that's how they create things. It's kind of like a volcano creates new earth and enriched soil. But they got to a point where it was getting too destructive and they needed to be put to sleep. So as a part of that, Io was seeking to put them to sleep, and he looked for help from the Queen of the Feywild, and she said no. As far as we know, that's we don't know why. We know she was helping Ka, but when Io came to her for help, she went no.
Partly because you heard Ka's story and then you heard Io's
story. Yeah. So we don't have, and because as we were travelling around, so we found this information by travelling to all of these little sort of magical circles of stones, and you touch one and then you hear a story attached to that circle. And there's like 9 or 10 of these circles in Ka's area of the Isle of Dread, and then there's 6. There's several. And then there was same sort on Io's kind of side of things.
And Io's one was more writing, so they had to interpret the writing.
Okay.
Yeah. And Ka seems to be very much a storyteller, whereas Io tends to be a lore.
Io was more about what he wanted.
Yes.
Ka was about what people needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
so Ka was the instructor.
Yeah. So Ka is looked at to have been a creator of language, but it turns out that our friend Lani, who is the Empress of the Waves, she's also the creator of language and the speaker of the first word, and it turns out that Ka got his language from her. She's also known as the Undying. She's kind of really badass, but at the same time, there are times where she is also very funny because she's my friend and she does silly things. But most of the time she's badass. Right, so other bits of information.
So heading on the way to being a pirate queen.
Yes, heading on.
That's got to be problematic.
Do they need to know all the stuff about the eggs or just the stuff about Io sacrificing himself?
Well, that's up to you.
So when the Titans were out of control, now I might get this wrong because and you're better at remembering all of this, and he couldn't get help from the Queen of the Feywild, which I really wish we just had a name for her so I didn't have to keep going the Queen of this, the Queen of that.
Well, that's because most of them were using a they title that can change. Because the power's in the title, not in the person.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so
I might not want their name to be known either.
Well, it may not be the same one that holds it now that held it then.
Okay.
That's basically saying it's now sunset.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh, okay, so one of the reasons why the Queen of the Feywild was miffed was because Takesis, who's a child of Io, kind of stole all her elemental power that's represented on her 5 heads from the Titans that were the children of the Queen of the Fade Wild. So she was kind of miffed about that, which is probably why she said no.
And Io is neither male nor female.
Okay, yeah.
Which is why it's the children of Io, not the daughter or the...
Yeah.
So in the end, Io ends up sacrificing himself to put them to sleep. It's kind of left vague how he does that, just that he's done that. We do find out a little bit later, a few pages on, that it wasn't necessarily willingly.
Okay.
But not necessarily unwillingly either, because Ka was the one who kind of, as far as I can tell, duped him into it, but Ka actually has a desire to wake Io back up, and, you know, do something about it and remedy the situation. But it's really hard to tell, as it is with all gods, what their true motives are.
Okay.
Because you're going to all of these sending story circles everywhere, and you're getting kind of Ka saying all this good stuff kind of about himself.
Press release.
Yeah, it's very good PR. And then Io's kind of like, it's not all roses and, you know, beautiful moments with Ka. You know, there was quite a bit of bad stuff going on and things that were out of control. But secretly, or not so secretly, Io was kind of proud of Takesis stealing those elemental powers. One, because he didn't think it could be done, or they didn't think it could be done, and two, because then now you have elemental dragons as kind of a part of that.
Takesis created the concept of the
Elemental dragons, so
Okay.
you wouldn't have them without that. And Caclryx is kind of happy about that because, you know, she's now technically got 3 elements with her. She didn't start off wanting to collect these elements. She was white, she was happy to be white. She only... it's only after she made friends with the Queen of Darkness that some black scales started popping up, and she's kind of like, well, I've got some black scales on me, what happened? And then, you know,
and from most dragons' perspective, that's not possible.
And then, you know, she's
The
kind of
black
figured
does
out
the-
it's because she's friends with the Queen of Darkness, and the Queen of Darkness has done favours for her, and because she's owed the Queen of Darkness, particularly after they went to the tomb in, where's that desert? Yalarum, and they got themselves into some bad trouble there, and the Queen of Darkness helped them out of that. And basically she's just like, I will trade whatever favour you need to make sure that my party stays alive, and she's now got black scales, and then she kind of did that again with the blue one. But she kind of did that more by intention. She had some idea that would happen. Just so you know, she's not Takesis, she's not becoming Takesis, and her goal is not to actually collect all of the elements. She's not a bad dragon.
Gotta catch them all. Yeah.
She kind of wants to a little bit, but, you know, it's not her goal.
There are pros and cons to all of that. So for those of you who have more than one element, you automatically be considered an Alphatian by the populace. If you have competing elements, you're considered the same as a half race, as someone who's gone mad.
And I've got air, water, and darkness, so they compete. They don't compete, right?
None of those compete.
Sweet, I'm an Alphatian. Alright.
So air and earth compete, fire and water compete. So you don't have to worry about that unless you try to get a 4th one at 16th level.
No, I'm good.
So you're going to time next?
2, let alone 3, so...
Did
I'm becoming the Avatar.
Did you want to awaken the primal titans? Or was
So
that just a
what
bad
happened-
mistake?
What happened was our leader. We are more of a democratic party, like all parties, but Drachnama has been with us since
Strahd started walking.
And Drachnama got sent a vision by Ka that he needed to do this thing, and so he was just following the vision, feeling that it was the right thing to do.
The avatar of the sun god, or the sun titan, was protecting the way into the center of the island, and to allow them to do certain things, they had to defeat that, or they would never reach the center of the island.
And we had to reach the center of the island to
And many other
achieve
things
other goals.
have been opened up to them because they've done so.
Yes, so we didn't want to, but it kind of became something we couldn't continue without doing. So
Okay. Basically, they would not survive the next year's war if they hadn't.
one of the really big positives that comes out of this, though, is the Master was sucking energy out of the Titans to do all the things that he was doing and to kill the millions of people he was killing. And now that the Titans are awake, he can't do that anymore.
Yeah, we were told that.
Yeah. So, you know, it's not all bad. It just, there are serious
I'm just
consequences.
wondering whether we've just created another bigger problem, that's all.
I don't think so, but it really does depend on how we achieve our goals, whether or not we achieve our goals. You know, I think if we do achieve our goals in the end, it will work out. It will work out in the end, but I think there's going to be some really tough times.
And plus,
to get
waking
through.
someone up for many thousands of years of sleep generally makes them cranky.
Well, if
Friends, it might have been a great sleep.
if she had
I
been
might
given the
be feeling
opportunity,
refreshed.
Caclryx would have given them all coffee and a cookie. They would have felt better, but you know
They might be feeling really refreshed.
that did not stay.
Well, they didn't want to go to sleep in the first place.
Oh, okay. Bill, then they should be happy that they've been woken up. We woke you up. You know, you should be grateful.
But they existed before language.
Okay.
So whatever word you say to them has no meaning.
There's no meaning. Okay.
Have I given them history that they don't know that they need to know now, or is there more? Because I've got loads more notes
I think
here.
that's a big chunk of what they
Okay.
needed to know.
So I don't need
It's
to.
hard to take it all in.
Yeah.
It is. That's why I didn't want to overwhelm, and I didn't want to continue on it unless you didn't need it. What about the destruction of the Black Morians? That's the final story of Ka.
You can go into a little bit of that. I have hinted on it. Some of the players haven't heard it.
Because the Black Morians kind of do play a role in this. Okay. I don't actually have much here. Just that the final story from Ka was about the destruction of the Black Morians and how Ka, with the help of the gods, created the Hollow World to preserve all of the cultures.
That they could save.
And that he hopes to free Io one day if Io wants to be. And that's pretty much... do you know who the Black Morians are? You might.
Vaguely.
'Cause
They are a high-tech species that were using what is now considered forbidden technology, and had done so to with electricity, energy, and light to basically conquer most of the world, more than the known world. Pretty much, they conquered the world, and then they all wiped out in one big bang. Think asteroid wiping out the dinosaurs size calamity. It was enough that it threw the planet out of alignment, and the north and south poles completely moved. So the axis that the world is on is not the axis the world was on before they did that.
so I also got noticed here that the primordials, or the primal titans, aren't the only source of all power, but the easiest to tap.
Because they were asleep.
Which is one of the reasons why waking them up's not a bad thing. The other thing was that Ka also told us the only reason Io could put the primals to sleep is that he has the power. He has power that surpasses them, whereas Ka didn't. And Io is bound to the moon, which is why lycanthropy them came about, and that's all I've got. After that, it's all about our adventures,
And
killing.
the last thing they also
things.
had was the Isle of Dawn is the birthplace of all the Titans.
Yeah.
One thing in all this, Samir, is attuned to thunder or lightning or something, or both.
Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very good.
That is their theme song. Actually, it's rather lightning by Metallica, but still.
And Chauvel is attuned to fire, so when they do things in those elements, it goes up. It's extreme. And that's
Chevelle is
because
always extreme.
But
you
is
know.
that-
Sorry
is-
to tell you this late in the game, but
yeah,
yes.
but it seems like they're tapping into the primal titans. But
It could
the
be that they're
Titans
actually
are now
tapping
awake.
into their gods. Like Chevelle.
Oh, okay.
Chevelle is sponsored
So-
by a god that is
Okay.
basically fire.
But
I don't know about Samir.
But their powers are much greater now that the primal titans.
The Dark
are
Lady
awake.
does speak up at that point.
Okay,
And she says
yay.
that the power sources are all out of whack at this point. The restraints that have been laid for so many centuries have been broken.
Okay,
So
Right,
it
that
will
makes
take-
that's the first thing I've heard that makes sense.
It'll take some time for things to settle down and things to return to normal.
Well,
So,
whatever
yeah, you're
normal
gonna-
is.
You're going to find some people that are incredibly weak and some people are just overpowered.
Yeah, I know. I get that.
I wonder if I'm more powerful now.
Well, you are. Last time I saw you were the size of a pony.
Yeah, not just because of natural growing up, but also because of these things being out of whack. Power sources are all out of whack, you said, and,
Yeah, and it'll take some time to settle down.
Are the only power sources that
But
are
I don't think dragons grow that quickly.
Dragons grow as quickly as they need to. The sizes determines how much they have learned.
Okay, so
Caclryx
you're a
spends-
sponge.
Caclryx spends a lot. She wants to know everything. She's always asking
The
questions.
more they learn, the faster they grow.
Are elements the only sources of power? Are they?
No.
Okay. Can I try to
So-
calculate if she's doing what she's currently, how big she will be in the next, what was it, was only a year since I last saw her, wasn't it?
But you'd seen her grow over, have growth spurts.
Yeah.
So it's roughly every 5 years she grows a size category.
So I've closed my books, so I'm going to just rely on your memory a bit for Anton's question, which is, are the elementals the only source of power? And the answer is no.
There are many places in the world you can go to. They have discovered well springs of the elements.
Yeah.
So in the wellspring of time, one of the characters spoke up and became the first speaker because they spoke before time.
That'll be my friend.
Okay. All right.
And so brought about history as they believed it to happen.
Yes.
As others of them had travelled to the wellspring of thought, where your belief determines reality.
That's scary.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was fun. We only had to think that we could breathe water, and we could breathe water. It was much better than we thought it was going to be.
But someone had believed the occupants of the island were dead and had killed them in that thought.
And so we thought them alive, and that helped a lot too.
Okay.
But Anton's question, or Gary Anton's question, was, are the elements the only sources of power? And the answer you gave actually included 2 elements. Are there...
But the wellspring of thought and time
Right.
are not particularly elements.
Oh, okay.
The elements are connected to the spheres, but they're not completely
I
determined by
see.
the
So
sphere.
even though time is connected to water and thought is connected to air, they aren't actually reliant on that connection to air and
Because
water.
art is also connected to thought.
Okay, yeah.
Civilization is connected to time.
Yeah.
Magic is connected to energy.
And energy is fire?
Yes.
Yep.
And so all these things have different sources of power.
Yeah, okay.
But the Immortals guard the secrets on how to gain that power jealously.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, of course.
Because those who get it without permission are erased.
All right. But the elements.
So they just
the
need
elements
to erase the master.
so the elements are just easier to get.
The fact that he's got it means he had permission.
Yeah.
The elements are just easier to get.
Who's the
Yeah.
idiot who gave him permission?
Quite possibly Thanatos.
Probably.
He's the chaos one, isn't he?
No, he's not chaos at all. He's the god of the end of all things,
Yes.
otherwise known as the Grim Reaper.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He,
Don't we-
he basically takes the dead
We also know he's supported by Axolotl,
at Xanthiotl,
Exantiotl, which is like a big bad.
also known as the Corruptor God.
Yeah.
His entire being is about taking someone's belief and turning it against them.
Yeah. I do not like him.
It
If
is believed-
Caclryx had a capacity to kind of put someone down, that would be the one she'd start with.
But she knows she's not.
So it could quite possibly be the one responsible for the halflings losing their language.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why Caclryx is not a fan.
He is also one of the elven gods. Because he was once an elf.
Okay. But he got the dwarves to do it.
That's what he does.
Yeah. He corrupts.
He
That's why it's
makes
called the
other people
corruptor.
do his bidding without knowing they're doing it.
What a prick.
He's
That's
a
literally
Sith.
what he does.
Okay,
He's
so
like
is he,
Palpatine.
so is the god of pricks.
And so the Etrugan god had this person follow him around and destroy 3 civilizations he created in a row. So he was the last man standing each time. And
Etrugan or
Etrugan.
Example.
Anzatiotl did that to Etrugan.
Right.
And then Etrugan became a god.
Yep.
And now Etrugan's in a position to return the favour.
I don't know. I think instead of wiping out a civilization, we should look at putting down Exantiotl. But that might have consequences. Caclryx is aware of that. It might not be a good idea, but, you know, knock him unconscious for, I don't know, half of eternity might not be bad either.
We were going to try to find out from Regrians what we're supposed to do next.
Okay, so the Dark Lady's here.
She is here, and she did say that Caclryx here should be able to be a connector between all 4 of your organizations.
Okay.
Well, diplomacy and
As a representative of the Queen of Darkness.
Ah, I see. Between, so which what are our all 4
4 elemental cults.
cults?
And all the 4 elemental cults technically fall under the purview of the Queen of Darkness.
So do we have names of your cults? So,
Yeah.
The Howling Hatred.
oh, yeah, okay, I'm familiar with this. Howling, Hatred,
The Crushing Wave.
Crushing Wave,
The Eternal Flame.
yep.
And the Black Earth.
Beeps, Crushing. Isn't there an air one though?
The air one is the Howling Hatred.
Oh, okay, yep. Crushing Wave,
The Black
Eternal
Earth.
Flame and Black Earth.
Blackened Earth.
I think it's just Black Earth, actually.
Yes, the Black Earth.
Uh-huh.
But Blackened or Black Earth doesn't really matter. It's easy to say, say that.
We're not pedantic on the point.
Flame, something to do with flame.
The Eternal Flame.
Eternal flame.
So each of them is a twist on the actual name.
Quick question. Caclryx puts a finger up and goes, that's only 4 of the 5 elementals. What about, entropy is...
Each of the cults represents darkness and one of the base elements.
I see. Yep.
And you said the Queen of the
Queen of Darkness is entropy, which
Yep.
is your 5th element.
And the one able to manipulate all the other elements. All the other elements exist in opposition or dominance, whereas entropy is all about weakening all of the other 4. So when you combine entropy and an element, you get a very destructive force,
Okay.
which is why they're the shock troops of Alphatia.
She's kind of like, does that make me one of them? I don't know if she wants to be a shock trooper. Can she be the chocolate supplier with the coffee? And, no, okay.
Well, they left Alphatia because they didn't want to be
No.
pawns in their big war of aggression.
Yeah, if
they had have stayed there, Alphatia would have won, and none of you would be around right now.
Caclryx kind of, when she was going around exploring these, she had a lot of sympathy for them, and that was one of the things that helped her get along with each one of the cults. Was she's kind of like, that sucks. I will help you in your quest of staying free.
And part of bringing the 5 of you together like this, who each have signed up with things,
Yep.
is that Caclryx is not bound by the same gears as the other 4.
Nice.
But because she's technically a member of the Queen of Darkness's court in this representation, she's considered someone that they can discuss everything with. So the Geas does not apply. That stops them from talking to the others.
Okay.
Which is why looking for someone to join the Queen of Darkness and the Dark Ladies cult, technically as that is.
Well, I'd have preferred it to the Black Earth, but I didn't know it was an option at the time.
She didn't give it as an option.
I know.
She was waiting to see if people were able to gain membership in each of the other cults first.
Yeah, somebody had to do Black Earth.
Yeah.
Caclryx pats you on the shoulder and gives you a cookie.
No, thank you. You know, like some of these ones, they won't even feed you properly. Like,
Really?
Yeah, the bloody,
gives you
the
another
bloody
cookie for
howling wind,
later.
yeah, howling wind, whatever they call themselves. God,
Yeah, bread and water.
bread and water. Well,
stale bread.
stale bread and water. I'll have.
Who's
You
the
know,
member of
stale-
Howling Wind out of our group?
Yeah. Em got real food.
Oh.
It was Anton that got the stale bread and water.
Aw. Anton can have extra cookies for later.
Your cookies.
That's
are
why
nice.
you bring your own food.
Thus the bag of, instead of a bag of holding, I invested in one of my upgrades in a bag of cookies that are got a small healing capacity.
I've always got some smoked fish.
Okay.
That's does it all for-
So what do we do now?
All right. So this infers that there's some sort of meeting to be had.
As in, you'll be up to now talk to Anton, Samir,
Yep.
Chauvel, and Zal,
Right.
and find out about what the 4 different cults have their members do.
Okay. I see.
Because they can't tell anyone else.
I see.
They can't even tell the other members of the cults.
Can they all talk in front of each
No.
other as long as I'm there?
No.
Okay. So I have to have a conversation with each one separately in a room. And where does Yodri fit in?
Yodri has some followers from the Crushing Wave, but he's not a member.
Okay. So
He hasn't signed up with them. Does he wish to sign up with the Crushing Wave?
does he need to?
If he wants to actually find
Crushing
out what
Wave
the
wasn't
Crushing
hard to
Wave
get
does.
into. It's the easiest one from memory.
Who are we missing? Emmy and
Emmy and Josh.
Josh. So Emmy was
Emmy chose the Howling Hatred.
hatred. Yep.
So joined the Fettergale
Griffins.
Knights.
Yep.
And Chauvel joined the
Eternal
Flame
okay.
with the Fire Druids.
Okay.
The Fire Druids of the Scarlet Moon Hall.
That makes sense. Okay. Because I was going to say
We love the names.
it could
Yeah.
be more helpful for this game in particular if we had someone from one of the ones not represented here. But if Crushing Wave is the
was
connection
already-
that's already established, then obviously that's the one that needs to stay.
Well, the Crushing Wave connection we have is Samir with Izzy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I joined because they're
Well,
all
that-
about freedom. I like it.
The other thing is-
they did seem like the best of the 4, I'd say.
Yeah.
And they were the last ones to get someone to sign up to them,
Yeah.
which was funny.
But
So-
the other thing is, don't you? Would you also need to be in a balance? You can't have. You don't-
They're all about our 2 elements.
Yeah, no, but 2 elements.
Yes.
They're about
darkness
darkness
and,
and-
either water, air, fire,
Yep.
or earth.
Okay, so I think I've only got 1.
So if you've only got water, then they wouldn't accept you unless you took darkness as part of joining them.
So therefore, I have to go to the Dark Lady because I only have water.
They can grant it to you. So most of their cult members
you too
are at
can
least
collect all
6
the
level.
elements.
So to become a cult member, a character needs to be 6 level. minimum.
Join Caclryx. She's gonna so I'm able to talk to Anton, Samir, Chauvel about the hidden things that are a part of what they need to do, or what the cult does. Once I find out that information from each one of those, how am I able to help the group from there?
Well, you can tell any of the other. You're not bound by the same things.
Okay, so I can then share that with the rest of the group. Am I allowed to have them all in the one room and just tell them at the one time, or?
Well, the thing is, they can't tell the others.
Yes, but
Uh.
if I find... So I'm just trying to figure out from, particularly in
So you have no gears to stop you from
No,
telling
I
me
understand.
But with
But
the
I'm trying
gear-
to figure out what's the easiest and most time efficient way of doing this. So if I could have all 4 here and you know those 3 there, and I'm like, you guys be quiet. Now tell me about your cult. Is that allowed?
No,
or,
you'd have to
right.
take them into a place they couldn't
Yeah,
hear.
so I have to
Because if
take
they
them
can,
to.
if they believe that someone else can hear them, they can't say anything.
So I take them off to the side. I have a little chat with them, and then do that with all of them. And then when I bring them all back, I'm allowed to tell them all the bits and pieces. Okay.
So they don't have a gears that would actually prevent them from hearing things rather
Caclryx
than-
tell you all.
Well, no
what,
gears to prevent other people from telling you.
Okay.
That they have a gears to stop them telling others or allowing them, except for the fact that Caclryx is one of the few outside the organisation who the gears doesn't apply to.
And the purpose of this will then allow them to all know what each other needs to know about each other's stuff without having to overcome their gears that stops
Yep.
them from talking about it. Okay. Because I haven't been in the other games,
Yeah.
have they all talked about what their separate stuff is without...
They did have it go last session,
Right, okay.
and I can roughly go through some of it.
Ah, it's the Tower of Babel.
I am going to sit you over here now, if you don't fall
Okay,
over.
so the Cult of the Black Earth is about...
Pen. Just give me a sec. Alright.
The Cult of the Black Earth is about the implacable strength and unyielding resistance of elemental
Why do they
earth.
have to use all the... I love the big words, but Jesus. Implacable strength?
And unyielding resistance of elemental earth.
That's right, I remember now.
Followers seek the power to destroy the works of civilization with landslides, sinkholes, or mighty earthquakes. Which is part of their being frontline troops. Is that's what they do as frontline
So can you
troops.
give me that list just...
Destroy the works of civilization with landslides, sinkholes, or mighty earthquakes.
I'm summarising, it's too much detail. Okay.
Which is one of the things they hadn't gone into previously because their characters hadn't had time to investigate.
Landslides,
That's right, I remember now they were thinking, I probably chose the wrong one because strength's not my thing.
landslides, sinkholes, and...
Mighty earthquakes.
earthquakes. Alright. And then, is that cult?
It generally appeals to those who seek fortune from the earth, relating to animals or monsters that live into the ground.
Right.
So the symbol of black black earth signifies purpose and stability.
That's
It's
right,
the triangle.
purpose and stability. Yeah, I remember that bit.
And it's defensive, minded, and patient.
Yeah, I remember that bit too.
Though in battle they are brutal and straightforward.
God, you're going fast. My poor little...
You don't have to write all that
hands.
down.
Okay,
You can
alright.
always review it because it is recording.
Okay,
I
alright.
just check to make sure it's still
Okay,
recording.
alright, yep. You did? It is?
Yep.
Okay, alright. Happy? Do with mine.
And Iron Fang, the tool that Anton has a clone of, is the key to access to a lot of their power.
Okay, so I will write that down in a sec. It's just my pencil's getting really blunt. So, what is Iron Fang again? Is it a spear?
It is a pickaxe.
Here it is here. I can't use it, not very effectively.
Well, you were considered proficient with it while you
Pickaxe.
hold it.
Okay.
Is the key...
Most magical weapons, if you're lucky, will give you proficiency.
Okay.
It's the key to...
Key to the society. It's considered a. They don't say what it's a key to because
Yep.
they haven't gained that level of knowledge.
Okay.
They've only become members.
A key to the Temple of the
So
Elemental Earth.
he's got the pickaxe, but he doesn't know what it's for just yet.
Just to a temple of elemental earth, but not exactly sure what that is or where it is.
Yeah.
It's a mud hut.
Key to the.
Or you might just draw a doorway in the dirt
Alright.
and use the pickaxe to open it.
Okay, so the cultists of the crushing wave
Yep. So.
deal with the awesome power of water from surging tides and deadly maelstroms to raging torrents of rivers in flood to the crushing power of ice and glaciers.
Yeah.
Again, if I stop and do this slowly,
Yep.
it will take the entire night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. All right.
But,
You go.
I was already aware of that one.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll let you read your stuff, and I will write it down from the episode.
And making sure I give you what you need to know.
Yep.
And so they basically believe that the sign of the crushing wave stands for water's eternal surge and retreat and a cycle of unending change, which is really nice when they switch the order around. Previously, the descriptor of what it's for was at the start, and then it showed you the hand gesture. This one was a hand gesture and then what it's for.
Yeah.
I love how they do that.
Well, it's changing.
The tactics of the crushing wave are patient and stoic in general, but they study skirmishing as their main battle plan. So whereas the Black Earths are the charge and berserker style combat, the crushing waves generally come in from the side and disappear. They don't stay on the battlefield.
Okay.
The Black Earth rarely retreat. Retreat is not part of their doctrine.
No, this is not sounding like me.
Yes, the Zoltan and
Just because it's not what you do doesn't mean that you wouldn't fit inside what they do.
Okay.
yeah, you're not the soldiers. You're going to be going along the scholar side.
This is the doctrine that they have been ingrained with since they existed originally. Doesn't mean that it's what they believe now, but this is the doctrine that they have been taught. Because the internal flame is about the destructive power of flame in all its manifestations.
We saw that.
So with volcanic eruptions, forest fires, heat waves and droughts, creating a wasteland of ash and cinders. As they believe it's their sacred duty to purify everything around them by reducing their surroundings to smoking cinders.
Yeah.
Don't know if that's a good solution to a problem, but anyway.
It's just because that was what the beliefs that they came from. This is why the Alphatians used them as shock troops.
Yeah.
Because if you send all four of these cults into battle, it's very unlikely anything can stand up to them. So
want
then-
any more tea?
Oh no, I've still finished.
So it's so most members of the Eternal Flame have burn scars on them. So
Oh,
Anton
fresh
pretty
one,
much
you know.
fits into them with his burn scars.
Oh, okay. Well, it's actually a brand. They branded me, and then I tried to get rid of the brand.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of being branded,
So
so.
they are known to be impetuous, hot-tempered, and violent.
Well, that sounds like so cool.
Yeah, Chevelle does fit right into that one.
Yeah, sure. I should
It's
say.
certainly, impetuous. Yeah. You're not happy.
And so basically the idea of burning your opponents where they stand really does fit into what they were taught to do. And consuming from within is quite within their purview. So the Howling Hatred was all about worshipping the destructive power of the wind, storms, and believing those who work with them will punish those that have wronged them. And so their belief of destruction is an expression of personal freedom, is part of it, not just for destructive sake. So that they really like to tailor the destruction, not just destroy.
Yeah.
And they appeal to those who deal in perceptions over facts.
Okay.
So whereas looking at the Feathergale Knights, they didn't really exist in what you consider normal reality. You saw there were quite a few holes in their beliefs on what they were doing. So now you know why there were holes in their beliefs, because it's about what they're told, not what's reality. And holding on to that concept of belief over what they see before them.
Well, a perception's an illusion.
And basically that they believe it stands for, the symbol stands for a funnel, cloud of a tornado, or a superiority of winged creatures. Either of those would work pretty well with it. And they are known to be clever, impulsive, and creative. And that they tend to fight via deception.
So what now? What do we do now?
I think at the moment we're just trying to share all this information so that when you move on, you've
The
got
role of the Dark Lady and her people is to direct all 4 of those cults in battle.
Okay.
The cults, without direction, will annihilate each other.
That makes a lot of sense.
So,
You could.
In the darkness, bind them.
pretty much, yes.
so the role of the
And
Dark
just to
Lady,
make it even more amusing, the symbol of the Dark Lady is darkness.
Yeah.
kind of makes sense.
So would you say that was fathomless?
So it's to control these cults,
To direct more than control.
to direct.
The Dark Lady doesn't believe in control.
Neither does Caclryx. So
And most of the beliefs of the cults would not survive being controlled for long.
no.
So the fact that the Alphatians have controlled them for so many centuries made it very easy for, it's probably been about 2,000 or 3,000 years that they've been under the thumb of the Alphatian military. And this is the first time they've broken free. And some of their members have existed for that entire time.
Well, Caclryx remembers having a conversation with one of them
So does that
where
mean
she
they're
could
incredibly
really
pissed off?
empathise with what was going on with them being controlled.
Well, they are, their entire culture is about being angry and beating things up. Could you imagine living in that culture? They were never treated as equal, and they were always treated as second-class citizens, designed solely to bring murder and destruction to the foes of the nation.
Yeah. I can understand not wanting to do that. So, it does sound like we're going to have to go into battle against the Master. If I was to do that, I'd be signing up with the Dark Lady, to be honest. I'd rather be at the back taking command rather than in the front row, shock troops.
Oh, she says she doesn't lead from the back.
Doesn't she? Oh.
No.
Well, the thing is, if you lead from the back, you can't take control of the battle because you actually have to then send people out to tell the other ones.
Her followers become the banners that people flock to.
Yeah.
So you're the center of the skirmish, if you're her servant.
Sorry, cat litter.
The elemental cults will not respect someone who tells them what to do who's not there,
I wasn't saying not there, but you've got to be able to
Even-
survey the whole field.
even
you know?
from the rear.
Oh.
She says it's smarter to tell them what to do from behind, but that's not what the cults have been trained to believe.
Okay.
Their entire doctrine is about wiping out the opponents of their civilization. Whereas you will tear down and destroy everything that makes the civilization viable that you're fighting.
All this destruction stuff, really not on side with it, but
So by infiltrating them, you will gain access to more.
their knowledge and, yeah, I get that.
And soon you should be able to challenge the leader of their cult so that they won't return to Alphatia.
So what about the leader of the cults?
Soon they'll be able to challenge the leader of each cult,
Okay.
so they won't return to Alphatia.
Okay. So who's going to challenge the leader of each cult?
The member of the cult.
Okay. And that's our guys?
Okay.
Okay. So your guys' roles is to challenge, become the leader, and then kind of tell them you're not returning to Alphatia, you're staying here.
And potentially bring them against the foes that are causing their problems here.
The master and similar peoples. Okay. This is really important to know, and I should have written that down. I am going to make notes of that.
But
Okay, so
that is for another time. They will never see you until you've actually spent a year in the field.
Okay.
okay, so the first part of these guys' quests is now to spend a year in the field as a cult member.
They are a cult member now, so as long as they survive for a year, they have a chance of visiting and speaking with the head of each order.
So survive a year in each
Okay.
cult. Not in each cult, but just they survive a year and then they can
Really?
then.
Challenge for leadership.
Well, try.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking as well.
Caclryx says, do you have any information of what these challenges look like? So, what kind of things the members of this party need to start learning? Like, should they be trying to learn a certain sort of magic or a certain fighting technique, or practicing with the element related to their cult?
Well, her main suggestion is mastering your own personal power. Because if
Okay.
you're not a master of yourself, you cannot master another.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And the big problem with the cults now is they're so indoctrinated into the belief system, they do not deal with change well.
Okay.
So as you pointed out yourself, you are not suitable for standing there and fighting. The person who opposes you will stand there and fight. Use that against them.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Everyone else who would challenge that person will stand there and fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you retreat,
Also, what
attack from a distance.
also what constitutes defeat too is another thing.
Knowing them, they'll probably have, if you step out of this circle.
As long as it's not stepping out of a circle in Shadowrun, where if you do, you end up in two parts, and that does not bode well for a body. For it does not likely split in half in an instant.
I also forgot how strong bloody Bolt is now.
Well, it was a werewolf in almost full power.
So, what, a brawn of 6?
Well, 5. I said almost full power. So yes, she does say that using your natural abilities will most likely confuse them.
Oh, okay, that's true. I'm
So-
nothing like what they are.
Well, you can always just do the warlock trick.
What?
Cheat.
Wow.
Use your abilities.
Well, she said use your abilities against them. She's
Oh.
not saying she's not saying that's cheating. She's saying that's what she
Oh,
recommends you
yeah.
do. Because
Yeah,
if you
so-
do it the way they say to do things, you will never beat them. That's how they remain
Yeah.
in power.
Yeah.
Because the followers learn one way of doing things.
I just need to learn what actually constitutes defeating them. What does that mean?
For some of them, it might be publicly embarrassing them.
Oh,
Enough
okay.
so that they will concede victory to you. Each of them will be different.
Each of them will be different.
So,
I've got a
You've got to
year to-
learn.
I've got a year to learn. Got a year to learn this. Yeah.
In the year that you're learning this, you learn, what are their weaknesses? What do they consider defeat? What are the kind of things that they would consider devastating or humiliating or
I'd say
an
failures.
example only, but say, would Caclryx's greater lightning fire breath overcome Cheval's fire, say, if, well, not Cheval, like the fire cult person?
I kind of think for the
Cheval's
Black Earth
the
it's more
fire
about
cult, isn't it?
failure because they're sort of like intransigent success. So tricking them into failing is probably all it needs
She
to
does
be.
say, for example, if you can force the leader of the Black Earth to retreat, that's considered a failure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too bad I don't have any spells that do that.
You can learn them over the next year.
Okay.
You
All right.
you would look into. You've
Yeah,
got a year
okay,
now
Good point.
to
Find a spell that goes.
find an
make 'em
artifact, find a
fear.
weapon,
But
find a
fear's
spell.
probably the thing that they're actually hard. It's
You don't even have to
No.
use fear. You could
No.
use illusion. If you trick them into thinking that
She even says, yeah, you're thinking one-dimensionally because you're thinking solely of the mind. You can force someone back physically as much as you can mentally. Both of them are equally valid for forcing someone back.
Okay.
Yes, so for instance, if you do the tug-of-war thing, you just probably let go of the rope and they fall over.
but you could do a sinkhole underneath him. You know.
Though she
No.
does say, beware of using the element of earth against a...
No,
Oh yeah, I wasn't.
That's
meaning
not what I
that.
meant. I meant use like one of the water type things against the earth type thing type of thing. You just used a very bad example.
That's okay, that was why I spoke up quickly.
Yeah.
You've got like
But the other side of it is you could easily trick them into it by, if they've got an armed force, making an illusion of one of the generals of that armed force telling them the enemy's over there, and then you do an illusion of the enemy being over there, and they run off in that direction. You could divert them. You don't have to necessarily, it doesn't have to always be a direct thing.
Yeah.
or if
Oh,
you've
no.
got some type of confusion spell.
Yeah. There's lots of things. You could possibly convince them all to sit down and eat cookies.
Yeah.
Or you could do what Caclryx did when her entire party were about to be beaten the crap out of and killed by an avatar of the Queen of Darkness, and go down there and go to the avatar, would you like coffee?
Yeah.
And
And
use diplomacy.
something that may even be just as simple is, or exceedingly hard, give them an original thought.
Yeah, no, they don't seem open to thought, but anyway.
They are open to it, they're just so trained not to do so.
Yeah. I've got a year to think about this.
Yes.
Yep, or you could do the good old ball and cup trick.
Well, that was the point of Caclryx's question: is what can these four people do to prepare to do their thing? And as the fifth person as part of this, where do you want to fit? Where do you see yourself? Are you going to join the crushing wave? How are you going to contribute to?
Would
Are you going
want
to
to
join
be,
one of the other cults?
would you want to be more accepted amongst the halflings by being just straight water? Because the moment you start to separate your elements, you stop being considered one of the people of the region.
Yeah, that's the problem. I would normally did the people first anyway. Because, okay, there's halflings to the north. Whoa, I want to go and meet them. You still need to do that too.
Though you also risk getting entangled in the dragon issues.
Sorry, what's
Actually,
That the dragons are to the north.
that? Oh, yeah.
well, no, the other thing is, isn't it the dragon's fault anyway?
Caclryx goes, hey!
She says it's not her role as a shadow dragon to deal in the affairs of mortals.
There we go.
She's not permitted to change what you do as a culture.
Would you want her to? Would you want to be controlled by dragons?
Well, we probably wouldn't be in this mess if we were.
It's
So
the
you're
role of
saying
the
you prefer
metallics
enslavement?
to manipulate your cultures.
Mm.
Well,
The metallic dragons are in charge of keeping your cultures in check.
I haven't seen a metallic.
You don't see them. That's not their job. Is not to be seen. Their job is to do without being seen. They are called the Hidden Kingdom of Dragons for a reason.
Well, they're not doing their job.
That's because they have been called away because there is a big debate going on about whether or not to bring back the goddess Takesis.
Should I be at that meeting, or am I okay where I am here?
If you're at that meeting, you will be required to take up the mantle of Takesis. There will be no questions on that one.
What if I want to convince people not to take up the mantle of Takesis?
I think
they will not give you a choice.
I think it's because you've already got multiple elements.
Currently, you're the only dragon associated with them that has more than one element. The Queen of Darkness allowed you that boon.
She has been a much appreciated ally. Alright, so in terms of our session now, what's the next move forward?
Next move forward is you'll probably end up travelling back to Redrian to find out what he would like you to do next.
Yay! Are we going to an inn, or do we have to...
So she does thank you all for coming, and she says if there's ever a need, just send word to Caclryx if she's not with you.
Caclryx will give you what is essentially her pager number.
Well, thank you for all the aid you've given us.
Caclryx also will ask if the Lady of Darkness... Is it Lady of Darkness?
The Dark Lady.
The Dark Lady. Sorry, I keep getting this all mixed up.
All good. She answers to both.
She hesitantly has a little scroll and she's like, do you think you could get this to her?
She has no problem with that. She
and
visits there occasionally.
She will give the little... basically it's her letter that Herman... She hasn't been able to get a letter to Herman in a while, so she'd like to do that.
Is there anything you'd like us to do?
Well, you have already started.
Okay.
But unfortunately, my requests are rather limited. To do more of what I need requires time.
Okay. Fair enough. Everything requires time.
If that changes, Caclryx is always happy to help. But she knows that.
The more you step away from mortality, the less you're able to affect it.
Okay.
What do you mean, step away from mortality? Aren't we all still mortal?
You are.
No, but
Yes.
she's the Dark Lady.
Oh, she's the Dark Lady. So, okay, so she means the more you, as in I, and people like me, step away from mortality, the less she is able to affect
Well,
it.
no, the less... so the more she steps away from mortality, the less she's able to affect it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I took it as many.
Yeah,
Because
so Caclryx...
she's not fully mortal and she's not immortal.
Yeah. No, so
If
Caclryx took
you're
it the other way.
immortal, you can beat up a god, and the god can beat you up.
I don't know, she might be heading that way. It's a very long...
But using that
long
logic, it
journey,
means
though.
that gods can't damage mortals.
She looks at you and says, so if a tree falls on you in a forest...
Yeah, fair. Okay. Directly.
So if your ship capsizes at sea...
Yeah, okay, so directly.
So if a lot of lightning hits you on a clear sky...
Yeah.
I think your point's being made, but Caclryx kind of like titters and chuckles, and so does Eep. And then before she takes a leave, Eep will tap Caclryx's horn, and then Caclryx will hand Eep a cookie, and then Eep will hand a cookie to the the lady, to the dragon lady, if she wants it.
Yes. She happily takes it.
But would be
No one's turned
influencing
down
something to
equal
do something
Caclryx's
to a
cookies yet.
mortal. That's still doing something to a mortal, isn't it?
Yes and no. It's knowing the actual rules is very hard because you're not an immortal, she says.
And I probably don't want to be one.
If you knew the actual rules...
Actually, if I was an immortal, I wouldn't be able to get drunk.
One thing I should have mentioned, I'm scrawny. You said once that that was matted.
You did say you were scrawny.
Mm.
Yeah. And I said,
More food. Here's
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said that you'd do something about that.
Yeah, no, I said I'd make sure you'd have endless cookies while I'm around.
And she does turn to Anton and says, I've had a long discussion with your patron.
Have you really?
Yes.
Yes.
And what can you tell me?
I've had a long discussion with your patron.
Okay, that doesn't
Me
really help
or
for
the
you.
lady
at all.
of...
The lady of...
Yeah, the lady of...
I just live in this world where everybody knows everything about
No,
me. except me.
I got the sneaking suspicion if you find out your patron, it's the end of the world.
Well, look, the world seems to be heading to a hell in a handbasket.
No, but
right
the
now.
thing is, it's
But
still
she
here.
can't talk about what she discussed with the patron.
It's completely up to the patron what the followers of that patron get to know.
Okay.
Actually, I just laugh.
Which is
Your
nothing.
patron is a cute,
If
fluffy
Caclryx has
rabbit.
a long discussion with the patron,
No,
is
my
she allowed
patron.
to tell him?
That's the one thing I
If the
can be certain
patron
about.
says no, then you
No.
can't.
Okay. So it's not doesn't fall under that whole she's the connector. Okay.
It's
more
where
like-
the warlock powers come from.
Okay.
It's more like being a puppet at the end of strings than a patron.
Alrighty.
But the Dark Lady can say your patron is quite amused and looking forward to what you will bring next.
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm amusing somebody in all this.
He says everything is going as he is designed. Assuming it's hard to tell with some of these beings.
I always thought of it as neat, but that was just me.
Well, she refers to scary things as he.
Okay. Scary, yeah, okay. All right. One day somebody
And
will
so
tell me who
you're
they-
talking to someone who deals with creatures of darkness all the time, calling it scary.
Okay, all right.
I'm still surprised you don't know who you're actually borrowing power from.
You mean who is using me?
Well, either way. I don't know. Well,
You don't have to know who you're getting power from to use power.
I know I was to get a full choice on what power I get either.
But all power comes at a price.
Alright. I guess we should head over to Redrin and get our directions.
And she does add that by knowing about the patron and what the patron wants, you must do what the patron wants.
Of course.
You will not. Your free will is no longer a matter.
I know. I wish I had
Ignorance is
free will.
bliss.
As you do not know what the patron wants, you don't have to do exactly what the patron wants unless they take
plus
control.
side, I have no idea because I normally try to
And
keep
if they take control, it's not you doing it.
Yes, that's I've clung to that.
So-
I've clung to that.
Once you know who the patron is, it will be you doing it.
Yeah, I'm losing it.
Ignorance
What?
is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
That sounds like he is his own patron. That does not make any sense.
Well, he'll find out when he knows.
Oh, great. I'm now getting a headache.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, let's go find Redrin.
Yeah, let's go find that room.
It's
This
at this
is-
point in the conversation, I'm usually like,
No, this is a Drazzle thing.
Drazzle just nods.
yeah.
I think Drazzle knows, but Drazzle.
No. I think I've worked it out as
Drazzle
well.
always-
Drazzle
knows.
nods again.
Yeah, I think I've worked it out, and it's giving me a headache.
Yeah. Alright,
Okay, so
let's go off and see the space wizard.
That means that he's going to be scary.
quite possibly. But most people can be scary given the opportunity. So yes, you find yourself back at the one of the towns that will give you access to the portal to Redrian and the Knight's River Inn.
One of the Knight's River Inns, yep.
I believe the one in Norvik, which will give you
We're in
access.
Norvik.
Well, you're in the Northern Reaches. That's where the
Yep.
Dark Lady has set up her stuff. She does say that if you ever need to talk to the patrons of all the cults, they have hidden their gates in Alphatia.
Okay.
Okay, that's...
We still have a token to communicate with the dragon lady, with the dark lady, don't we?
Well, the token actually got used up getting back here.
Oh, okay.
Normally
so we
they
don't have
wouldn't
that
use-
anymore. Okay.
It was ability to jump between each cult once.
Okay. All right. So we don't actually have that anymore.
So she gave you a short-term quick travel.
Okay.
So yeah, if you go to Alphadia, you'll be able to find a gateway there.
There is a specific location there that's currently hidden.
Okay, alright. Alright, so
She
hopefully...
has been working to relax the constraints on that.
Okay.
But most gods don't wish to be bothered.
Which is interesting in the sense that why did they seek to be gods in the first place if they don't want to be bothered
They
about
don't seek to
being
be
gods?
gods.
Don't they have to? Don't they seek permission for it? And all
There
that?
are some gods that have always been here.
Okay, alright. I thought...
Most, not all the gods know the truth.
I'm kind of getting confused now about things we said before, but I'm happy to move on.
She does say that each god believes completely different things to other gods.
Mm.
And some may be true, they all might be true, but they may be true from a certain point of view.
And they also just may not want to share it. As simple as that. Greedy, selfish bastards.
Knowing how to become a god is enough to create more gods than the world can sustain.
Caclryx keeps it to herself, but she privately has thoughts about becoming a god killer.
So, is this why it's having so much issue? Is there's just too many gods?
The issue is the gods aren't doing what they were here for. It is not the purview of the sphere of energy to create a world war.
Yeah, it sounds like it's against what it wants.
Well, battle is part of their domain.
Yeah, but the
world
total
war is not.
total destruction of everything. There's only really one that wants to do that, and then remake it afterwards.
No, he doesn't want to remake anything. He just wants it to end.
No,
Okay, I thought he wanted to remake it at
No,
the
he
end.
wants to be the last thing in existence and then disappear with that.
Oh god, one of those
Literally.
ones saying, "I win, I win."
And if you just say that too loudly, he may come.
And this is why Caclryx is having a very quiet thought about, I don't know, god killer sounds like a job I might be happy to do.
Yes and no.
Mm.
If you kill all the gods and it's only
Not all of them.
no, but I'm just saying, if you start killing all the gods and it's only you and him left,
No, not all of them.
yeah, that's. But as soon as you start killing gods, gods are going to start
Certain
killing
ones.
each other.
Certain ones, like ones that want to end everything and then destroy themselves. But she's not saying any of this out loud. It's just a little thought she has for 2.5 seconds.
She does turn to Caclryx and say, "It's not that easy to kill a god."
Oh no, she knows that. She's very aware of that. And she's very aware that
Yeah, you
killing
need
a god might have consequences.
Yeah,
exactly.
That means you really shouldn't kill a god.
yeah,
That-
She's
you-
absolutely
that's
aware
a-
of that too.
yeah.
That's a point I was going to make.
But it doesn't stop her from having that thought like we all have, where you're just like, if it could be easier if you could just, get rid of a couple of these really horrible
The
ones.
master is trying
maybe-
to. That's
maybe there's a-
why everyone hates the
maybe
master.
there's a solution here that doesn't involve killing. Maybe it's overthrowing gods rather than killing them.
Because if the master reaches the tree of life, he will kill all the elven gods.
The question is, and this is why Caclryx just has it as a thought and follow through, who gets to choose which gods die? And she wouldn't put herself in that position. So, don't panic. For one, she's just a large dragon. She's not a god killer yet. She's not coming anywhere near it yet.
And the current war is about one god killing another. That's the entire reason for the war.
Okay, which god killed which god?
Hasn't killed it, he's trying to kill it.
So the master
I think
trying to
it's-
kill the tree of life.
that's a
No.
different one.
That will get rid of other gods.
Yeah.
But the war that they're all dealing with is because the god Ixion
Ixion.
wants to kill the patron god of Galantry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the only way to do that is to eradicate to a person everyone from that region,
It's a
including your characters.
Okay.
Yeah, but
We're from Galantry.
No, you're
No.
from the region that knows of Galantry.
Yeah, it's basically anyone who knows about it, which is most of the world.
They're not that well known to the rest of the world. In this region, they're well known.
Well, actually, I should say to our sphere, which is the world.
It's like saying Europe's the world.
Yeah. Well, in 17th century and that, it was.
Like it is to these characters. Yeah. So yes, she says that is the point of the war.
Yeah, the master thing is just a secondary. He's just doing it because he's doing it, and it's just coincidental that you got other gods doing stuff, or he did it because the gods are currently weak.
He is an opportunist.
Yeah, while they're occupied.
Right now, the gods are not opposing him, so he has no opposition. Okay, so yes, you make it back to Redrine after being farewelled by the Dark Lady after she adds a few extra bits of information.
And I like the Dark Lady.
I was going to say, the few extra bits of information, is that something that'll come later?
That's what I just told you about.
Okay, yep.
Because you were talking about things and she told you about the reason, reminding you what the reason of the war is. Because you're talking about killing a god, and now you know what's required to.
I didn't say that out loud. I just had the thought that everybody has every now and then when they're stuck in a really long line or something like that, which would be, I just want to... I want to remove these horrible people from
she
the
answered
realm.
your thought.
But she's got no will or desire to follow that through.
Yeah.
But
It's
she
just-
wanted to say what.
I'm just
why
wondering
happened.
whether there's another option, which is overthrow rather than kill. But
Caclryx also mentioned that earlier. It
called
would be good
Put
to
them
kind
to
of
sleep.
put them to
I'll
sleep.
put them to sleep. Okay, all right.
She said it'd be good to
she
make
said
them...
the dwarves did that to the halflings
Oh,
and killed off all the halfling patrons.
Yeah,
Yes, killed off all your previous patrons.
how did they kill them if they're only meant to put them to sleep? Was it an accidental
They
whatever?
they destroyed the culture
Ah, okay.
and the belief system.
And that's how they put the gods to sleep so much, so to speak. Yeah, anyway,
I don't
it
like
was
that.
just a wishful, momentary sense of outlet of frustration.
I sympathise with it.
They'd make a lot of work for Caclryx. She'd rather be at a coffee fields and enjoying
It's been
other
so long, I
things
don't know
instead
what
of
I'd rather be
killing
doing.
and killing and long hours of walking and fighting, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, finding yourself back in Darken City, there's lots of soldiers in the streets.
Okay. Which one is this one?
Darken City,
Main city.
the main city where Redrine's based. It's
Okay.
next to Alfheim.
Is that really big city with all the great places to visit?
Kind of, yeah.
I wrote down the name of the place because I thought this is a good place. I want to come back.
It is almost like the central civilization for most people. Let's see if I can bring it up for you.
Salonika, I wrote down.
Salonika is a sub-city of Galantry.
Okay.
It's not the biggest. So if I go down to... So Salonika, I'll show you on the map here, is this place right here.
Yeah.
Darken City is here. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
capital
That's
of
right.
it all.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Remember now. You're telling me that. Yep. We're in Dargan City. Huge capital city. Okay.
It is probably the biggest city you've ever seen.
Most certainly.
There are rumours that there are cities that make this look small.
Well, I'm impressed.
But you've never seen any other city where Traldarans are treated as equals.
Really? Okay. It's
And,
a new favourite city.
and there are signs in all languages with Traldaran being the top language.
Oh, wow.
Because this nation has been built by nearly all the races as a open to most things. The only thing it doesn't have is the animalistic races as part of it. They can trade, but they're not part of the nation.
Okay.
So what's considered a half race to most of them are the animalistic races.
Okay. What's the name again?
It is Darken City,
Darkan City.
the capital of Darken.
It's Redrin's base
Okay.
at the
And
moment.
looking around, there are halflings looking like they've just come straight from a ship.
Yay, friends.
Moving and talking, singing, sounding mostly drunk.
That must make Yodri happy.
Well,
Do you say hello? Do you hail them? Do you find out where they're from, what they've been doing?
No problem.
Proshka and I are going out in the town tonight. This is a great place.
So they would have come up by the water barges.
Okay.
Well, there's a great river here.
Yeah.
And they do also patrol most of the lake
Okay.
and the coast.
Actually, how long ago since there's been the battles?
About it's the 8th month, so that makes it 4 months since.
Yeah.
3 to 4 months since fighting stopped.
Is it all
So
fighting
what-
stopped or?
It's no sorties from the master have happened.
So we've now gone into a phony war.
Oh, well, a lull in the fighting.
It's a lull because the master withdrew back his forces back, but he hasn't withdrawn his line.
So there's still dangers then in the area?
Well, they don't know when he's coming. They've heard that the Etrurigan have united, which is scary because the last time they united, they created the Great Plateau and had basically forced all the other nations out of their space. The Horse Lords have united, which has also scared a lot of people because they also...
That's Imni's people?
Yep. They also are a force of chaos. And the undesirable races of the Broken Lands have united under a single king known as Thar.
Yeah, I
I
remember
hope
that.
Redring's got some insight into all this because it's just.
Yep. Well, hopefully.
So
that's
was
who
it
we're
the
gonna
giants
see.
have all now joined together now?
The giants have formed their own cities. And the giants haven't had a city in recorded memory.
That's because the dragons destroyed it.
Well, they stopped them because they were fighting the dragons. So yes, you find Redrian in one of the rooms with lots of dots on walls and papers everywhere, as he seemed to be trying to make sense of the madness of the world.
Look, well, I can't make sense of it, so.
He's collating all the information into a central point. though,
Yeah,
so
I think he's probably trying to lessen the destruction.
amongst
There's going to be destruction. He just doesn't want all of it.
Well, he doesn't want to see the death of civilizations due to negligence. And having you infiltrate the cults will eventually stop them causing some of that destruction.
Okay. I'm glad we're doing something helpful.
Unfortunately, not everything happens straight away.
Yeah, I agree with that. I accept that.
He would love to be able to put a stop to it all, but he is not strong enough to tell the gods no.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, means that you're probably the one who actually created them.
Do we
Caclryx
actually need
wants to
these
be able
damn
to tell
gods? They
them
seem to
no,
be the
but
source of
she
all the
knows she's not going to
problems.
be that strong.
They are also the source of life,
Hmm.
free will, thought.
Is there a way where they can do those important things without causing problems?
He
No.
believes that there is, but he doesn't know how to go about getting that.
That's what we want to do.
Hmm.
His belief is God should be the servants of those they protect, not forcing those that they protect to do their dirty work.
Yeah, it's a bit of a two-way relationship. It's both a service and a
He's going to reckon he's going to range.
Should be
leadership.
reciprocal.
It's supposed to be, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it should be, yeah.
Because this war of genocide doesn't help anyone.
No, certainly doesn't. Apart from that one who wants to destroy everything.
He's happy with the way things are going.
Though he is not currently in charge of his sphere.
No,
Okay.
not at the moment.
Doesn't need to be. You can sit back and watch.
Yes, the one currently in charge is the Norse god Hel,
Okay.
who believes in the reincarnation of those who cause the most destruction.
Wouldn't the most destruction eventually encompass you?
Quite possibly.
Doesn't mean she's not self-destructive or he's
But
self-destructive.
as you get more and more, eventually you just get everything, don't you?
But she keeps bringing the souls back that will cause chaos and mischief.
Okay.
Undead.
Oh, undead.
Not necessarily undead. As in, imagine the greatest dictators of the world being reborn in bodies and continuing on their campaigns in different lives.
Alright.
So,
What do we do now?
next up, he says, so, he lets you give him a rundown of everything that you've done.
The Black Earth really aren't a fun cult, I'm telling you. I can't tell you much about them, apart from the fact they aren't a lot of fun.
Most cults aren't.
Yeah.
So that's the reason they're called cults and not a belief system.
Yeah.
The moment they attach cult to things, people become fanatical and stop listening to reality.
That's a good insight.
Which is why he's had many people out investigating changes in belief systems. Because the moment you go from everyone should be peaceful and give everyone a chance to, no, let's just kill them all, seems to be a completely weird shift in religion.
The fact that the later is probably a little bit more easier than persuading somebody.
Yes, but an entire culture dedicated to peace and prosperity, becoming one of hatred, is wrong.
Yeah.
And he's having people investigate Alphatia itself, though that is rather hard because they don't take spies. And even if you're not a spy but someone trying to help the nation from within, if you don't toe the angry line, then they consider you a spy anyway.
Yeah, always the really rigid belief systems seem to be the problem.
Yes, he agrees. If everyone is so stuck in sticking their head in the sand that they don't look at what's happening, eventually no one's going to make it through. So now that you've managed to dig out the cult and what's happening there, what do you feel capable of doing?
I look at all the problems in the world and I just think it's just all too big.
Is there anything specific that you need done?
Well, I've got, he starts looking through, I've got a group looking into the war under the sea. I've got another group looking into a crashed starship after they saved some generals' children from kidnap. And I'm looking into the dragons of the north. Though he does look at Caclryx and saying, I'm not sure it's safe for you to go up there just yet. They seem to be
Probably not.
rather intent on no one leaving their discussion until it's complete.
But I don't necessarily have to go in there.
I think you were warned if you even think of going that way, you're going to be brought into the discussion.
Yeah, but I could always escort these guys along the way unless you have a direct route to put them right there.
He does think that maybe speaking to the giants and trying to get through to them as a dragon, it will cause some difficulty, but you are now large enough to be able to make them take notice. When you were a little bit younger, they would have just hit you with a club until you stopped moving.
Yeah, that'll make you a
If
pet.
they could have got me, I am good at dodging.
He agrees you are, but they are rather stupid and thick-headed. So not even coffee would have gotten them to...
Caclryx wonders if the cookies with the chocolate chips, if she made them big enough, that would settle them down.
Possibly.
They'd eat the cookies, have the sugar high, go
It's
and do
called
things.
putting
and
sleep
then-
potions in
yeah,
there.
sleep potions.
So,
Are the giants causing any problems at the moment? They're forming a city. That's not
that's-
necessarily a bad thing.
yes, but that's the start. A giant culture is built on enslaving other cultures.
Because
And
they
every culture smaller than them in height is a slave.
So
And
even
currently an entire city of hill giants has taken up residence in Karamikos and are about to take all the Troldarans as slaves.
So,
Alright.
do you need someone to route these
is
these
that
giants
name
out
familiar
of
again?
Paramikos?
He believes that someone who can talk to them and find out where their storm giants have gotten to.
Yep.
Because someone took the storm giants out of play.
Okay, alright, so, well...
So-
they'll
So
need
the
to
storm
do that.
giants were the representatives of the dragons and kept the giants in line.
Plus, they happen to be the most intelligent ones of them.
Okay.
Who would the dragons want to implement their
Yeah.
policy? The one who couldn't understand the word what policy means, or the one who could go, here's how we could implement it to actually help our people.
Question is are these giants even going to understand us? in that
Oh, they
sense?
will understand it, and
Will
the hill giants will have an intrinsic fear of dragonkind.
Okay, well, I guess that's where we should go.
Yeah, I've also got my helm, which is useful.
You do.
Provided you guys are happy going.
And Anton also has a helm that will get him an audience.
Well, it wasn't giving me an audience. It gets
No,
me,
it will get you an audience.
Oh,
with-
really?
Oh, you've got that artifact one, don't you?
No,
Yeah.
not an artifact.
It's not. It's just makes me look like the boogeyman.
Oh, yeah. The greatest fears. I forgot you got that thing.
Mm.
But it's the fear of the Troldaran people.
How does that look like? What, an angry mob?
No, it just looks like the equivalent of, say, a vampire lord, but as a version of like Lord Soth.
Okay, cool. Yep, right. Yeah, my hunch is right.
Along the lines of the Black Knight.
Yep. Yeah, I got a good idea.
So we're heading to Paramikos then?
So he does recommend that, and if you're willing to do so, he does think that maybe if you do some large cookies, you might get their attention. But the hill giants are driven largely by their desire for food and other impulses.
They are? Or
They are.
They are.
Oh, let's
okay.
see. We've got the bear. Bear's easily done. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've got my little magic little trinket thing.
I can
And
probably come up with large, giant-sized cookies.
Is it actually
Either
big?
that,
Is
or
it?
they think about my little cookies like mini Oreos.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yummy, but many of them.
Isn't the size determined by how big the opening of your bag is?
It is.
It might be. I could possibly do an enlarge or something like that on them once I've got them out.
That's cheating.
I'm fairly sure it's a spell.
She's just
I'd be
pitching from
capable
Ant-Man.
of.
I'm trying to think what I can do. How it pop here.
I'm fairly sure there is an enlarge spell.
The helm in
and
itself will help, Redrine says.
Okay.
He's done some research, and the giants themselves have served the wielder of that helm.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so I pretend to be their boss. All right.
You don't pretend. You are.
Yeah.
It's as soon as you say pretend, you're in the wrong mindset. It means it will never work. You are their boss.
Okay.
I don't play Caclryx, I am Caclryx.
Yeah.
So, while that helm may represent your greatest fears, it also is the one thing that has kept your people alive over the last 3,000 years.
That's a long
How does
time.
that work? I don't know.
You'll figure it out. You just gotta own it long enough. And own it when you own it.
Well, I was sort of saving it up, like I thought it'd be because
No.
it's got a big
No.
advantage. I can actually wear my
Don't-
smoking.
You don't save up an artifact like that. You use the damn thing.
Well, it's an artifact that makes me look like some terrible thing.
If you've got
Okay.
a hulking giant monster coming your way, do you want me to save my lightning breath in case it's for later, or do you want me to use it
As far
to
as
put
all-
that
As far as I
mofo
know,
down?
all this does is make me look different.
Okay, no, it doesn't. It makes you look what you either will become or what you were. You are the helm.
Okay, you understand this helm better than I do. As far as I know, it makes me look like the scary person.
Redrine just shrugs and says, halfling logic may work, but hey, we'll find out.
Well, the thing is, a lot of these things is a belief system. If he doesn't believe it, it's not going to work.
It helps in the confidence section, Caclryx.
We'll get you drunk.
No, not always.
Drunk.
No.
Alcohol works.
No.
Yes, but slurring his speech to the giants might not actually succeed in getting them to understand him.
I was thinking about trying to divide the giants, getting them fighting amongst yourselves.
No,
and-
maybe
No,
not.
mate. Oh.
If you can reason with them and get information out of them,
But they're not very
probably
bright. That's what I've just been told.
No.
Well,
they
the
may
ma-
not be
the
bright,
majority,
but
the majority of them are not bright.
they
Red
might
Moon
not
did
be
say
bright,
there are
but
some there
they'll be cunning.
that we can deal with.
They're basically like a whole heap of baldricks.
I would suggest instead of trying to figure out how to deal with it now without even interacting with them and finding out what they're like, we go there and we find out what they're like, and
Then
then
we
figure
need to
it
find
out.
out their
I just
motivations.
wanted some
and
sort of plan before we went in, that's all.
A little bit of a plan, but you know, all plans have to be adaptable to the situation.
Sure, I realise that. Yeah.
And plus, you have someone who looks like a winged angel amongst you.
That'd be Miss Sparkly or Mr.
That's
Sparkly.
not. I don't know if that's going to appeal to the giants, is it?
Candy
Look,
cane girl.
The,
Candy floss.
like Candy Anime Girl can appeal to anyone. Like just give her a chance.
Yeah.
All right.
I was going to say, we
the
need to
other
go.
thing is,
Or I can just feed them
the other thing is,
or entangle them, whichever one.
the
works.
angel is also the second biggest party member here.
Correct.
That's true.
And worst comes to worst, I can pretend I'm a storm giant and throw lightning around like crazy.
There you go.
Unfortunately, my disguise
See?
won't
We have a plan.
won't give me an extra
Feel better?
Okay.
15 feet.
something- Planning has never been our strong suit, I've noticed.
No,
Correct.
but
Jono
I'm
does
still
speak
alive.
up, saying planning never worked.
Planning never worked. Okay.
No.
All right. Off to visit the giants.
Actually, wouldn't
Caclryx
say that
jokes. We
planning
have
gives
Drazzle.
false
If we
sense
do
of
it wrong, he'll just roll back time.
hope. No, he can't.
No, she jokes.
He said time's out of whack.
Yeah. Everything's out of whack.
That's the reason why he's mopey.
No, you're not moping, are you, Drazzle?
He just shrugs.
Okay.
Yeah, he's mopey.
Cue
mopey, is
Caclryx.
it?
Yeah.
Cookie.
Yeah, if he shrugs, he's mopey.
Alright, heading
But
to
then he has
Paramedics?
seen the world die in many ways.
Yeah,
Drazzle's seen
I
a lot of
didn't
heavy
you
stuff.
don't need to know that.
he just seems more like a dispassionate observer rather than anything else.
Nah, Caclryx is more like frontline worker. Not dispassionate, but good at detaching oneself because he's had to deal with it so many times. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that they learnt from the other line that he's seen many deaths of the world.
Well, okay. Because you've seen that, I have to ask the question. Do you have any ideas of what we can do to avert the deaths of the world this time?
He says yes.
That's why he's here.
And you're not going to share any of those ideas?
No.
Nope.
If I tell you, I may have to kill you.
All right, okay. All right.
I was going to say, you remember the thing about the thing.
Yeah, I know. It's just sort of like, knowing it but not being able to do anything
So
with it.
if Redrian does speak up and saying, it's part of prophecy. If a creature of prophecy tells you a prophecy,
It happens.
even if it, of events that they have seen, it becomes a prophecy. The moment they say it must happen.
Yeah,
They
okay.
must make it happen.
Does seem rather useless, to be honest.
Well, that they can help it happen without speaking of it.
Okay.
But if they tell someone and they don't help it happen and it doesn't happen, they get erased. They're gone. They cannot be brought back.
All right. Well, okay. I'll just be attentive to what Drazzle's doing in the vain hope that I can help.
And he has to be careful he doesn't change things, so he has to let other people do it.
Yeah, change is good.
Change is good for you. You have free will. He does not.
Yeah, I hope I have free will.
Caclryx kind of looks over at Drazzle and says, I have to learn how to make cakes, because I think there's some times where I think cupcakes might be in order with frosting. I'm gonna have
I
to
think
get on
Samir would probably like fairy cakes, actually.
That sounds amazing.
This actually sounds like a
Drazzle
good
pulls
idea.
out a sparkly cupcake from a bag and gives it to you.
Hey,
But you need to teach us how to do this so that we can pull them out for other
You
people.
do
Caclryx
realise...
taught Drazzle.
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to learn one
yep.
day.
You do realise many fairy died for that cupcake.
and it is
Caclryx
delicious. The
gives
sacrifice was
you
not in
one of
vain.
those looks that you give your siblings when you know they're saying something mean and you don't need to be mean.
No. It's as similar as the pirate beer.
Or hummus.
Huh?
Many humans died to make that hummus.
Oh god.
Humans.
Yeah. If you learnt that fairy cake from the Hagues, it's definitely got fairies in it.
Caclryx will assure you that however she learns to make fairy cupcakes, no fairies will die in the making of those cupcakes.
Okay.
But they may be harmed.
Yeah, because they might have got the sparkling might be got from their wings.
Well, you pick them up and shake them over the
Yeah.
cupcake. Yeah, I've got sparkles now.
Caclryx stoically looks at Regirin and says, "Is there anything else we need to know before we go?"
Red Orange just having trouble not laughing at your discussions.
Okay, she if she needs to, she's going to physically pick up these people and start walking them
Well,
to
a
wherever
couple
we
of
need
things.
to go to.
Where are the
Karamikos.
Where are the giants and how do we get there?
Karamikos.
So
Karamikos, and how do we get there?
They are in the mountains in the east of it. You'll have to travel across land to get there.
Okay. Well, that's a long walk.
There's
That's a
no
long
Knights
walk.
Ravine in Karamikos.
There is one in Kelvin,
Kelvin.
on the edges
Yeah.
of Kelvin.
Yes,
The
Ken.
very clerical thing about the Church of Karamikos that's very much into stamping out the belief of the Church of Traldar.
Yeah, I seem to remember that
is this a
Karakos.
one god thing
Are
again?
we-
No, it's the overly zealous leader of that city.
Yeah,
But we
I don't like that.
Oh wait a
one.
sec, that's the one that we ran into previously, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Are we able to shortcut cut to our destination by going there and then walking from there?
You will be able to eventually make it over there.
Yep.
But considering how late it is and I'm struggling to talk,
Yeah.
Knew this
I
was
was-
coming, which is why half an hour ago I'm like, can we head to Karamikos? But no, you guys wanted to joke about fairy cupcakes.
That did not take half an hour.
No. Mind you, if we can start harvesting fairies on the way.
I'll help.
No harvesting
Can you
of
spell
fairies is
Karakakos?
required.
Well, it-
K-A-R...
Yep.
Well, we've got the perfect bait for it.
A-M-I-E-K.
Oh, you're talking about me or the Pericles?
No. We just use coffee. Fairies
Ah.
love coffee.
No,
K-A-R...
because I'm the holder of a coffee,
I'll just bring it up
and
here.
you don't get coffee if you're going to use it for that.
K-A-R-A-M-E-I-K-O-S.
E-I-K-O-S.
Yep.
Okay,
So
like
I
Greek.
was trying to be quiet so that Martin could spell
City of the
Karamikos
Tyrant,
for
I'll call it.
Gary.
The Calvin is the actual city.
Oh, Calvin. Calvin.
So Calvin is where one of the patriarchs of the Church of Karamikos resides, whereas Threshold is another place where a patriarch resides, but he supports the Church of Traldar.
Okay, Patriarch.
So not all the patriots are evil, just some of them are bigoted.
But Kelvin is
Patriarch
where there
of
might
the
be.
It's
Church
the, it's
of-
the closest link to
Yeah.
get to the giants.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Which allows me to, next session, bring in Storm King's Thunder, which is the storyline that is related to.
That's the one that it was going to declare war on the dwarves, wasn't it?
The dwarves were fighting the one of the other versions of them, one of the other cities, because they're setting up in the dwarven lands.
I was quite happy to be a long way away from Karamakos. But anyway.
So that each of the giant cities are setting up in the domain of another kingdom.
Oh, okay, this is giants. No, I was talking about Caramel. It is one of the town cities decided to declare that dwarves are inferior, that they wanted to basically ended up declaring war against dwarves.
That's Galantry has done that. All of Galantry.
Oh yeah, I know that one. But wasn't
It depends on what the dwarves have been doing recently. And as the dwarves have been packing up and leaving it in mass,
These are their own problems.
the king of the dwarves has recalled every dwarf that's of adult age.
Of course the giants are going to set up because there's no bloody dwarves there.
Well, the areas where they have set up, there's no settlement of dwarves,
Yeah.
but they're set up inside the kingdom of the dwarves.
Yeah, of course they're going to do it because there's nothing to stop them. That's the thing. That's what happens when you recall all your fighting force.
Well, they were all doing other things, now they're being brought back. So, unless you have any other questions there...
So, in that case, we actually need to get a dwarf in the party there.
The only dwarf you can get would be a teenage dwarf, because otherwise they lose all clan standing.
Yeah, no, yeah. If an adult dwarf is being called home, it has to go home.
Okay. Because we actually need to get the giants and the dwarves talking to each other.
Yeah. But
That's talking, not trying to kill each other.
I know you hate the word.
Where those giants and dwarves are, you don't have access to because they've actually closed it off to other races. No one other than dwarves are allowed back in their kingdom.
yeah.
And the gnomes have lost the ability to
We
look
can
down
make,
at them.
we can make the dwarf. We can make the giants think they're talking to dwarves if it'll help.
Yeah, I can do that too. But
There is a racial hatred there.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well,
They've been attacking each other for a long time in
but I was
skirmishes.
just suggested that we needed to get them talking. I just think that's one way to make them think they're talking.
Okay, did you have anything else you wanted to add there, Izzy, before I go on to end credits?
No, go for
Ross,
it.
are you able to pop that back on?